Report Network has a new and exclusive line of clothing. First up, the Jiu-Jitsu Rash Guard. This isn't just gear, it's a statement. A commitment to eco-friendly battles on the mats and waves. And for those who live by the bold champion spirit, we have something special. A line for men and women designed not just for the fight, but for life. Wear our bold champion spirit of Jiu-Jitsu Rash Guard confidently. Its striking design with golden figures in combat honors the enduring spirit of competition in martial arts. Pair it with our unisex mesh shorts, the perfect combo of style, comfort, and eco-conscious design for the modern warrior. And don't forget, our Jiu-Jitsu Bold Champion Spirit leggings. This attire is expertly engineered to channel the champion spirit in every move you make. Together, it's not just about looking good. It's about feeling the part and living the Jiu-Jitsu way, both on and off the mats. Meticulously crafted for the yoga studio, the gym, and beyond, blending style, comfort, and the heart of a champion. Wear your passion, embody sustainability, and elevate your practice. Join the league of athletes who wear their values as proudly as their belts. It's more than clothing, it's a way of life. Ringside Report Network, where champions dress for success, sustainability, and the spirit of the sport.
Attention to all professional wrestling fans and followers of the legendary Johnny Genesis North. We are releasing a must-have collection of Johnny North merchandise in our store at merch.ringsidereport.net, starting with our limited edition Johnny Genesis North 3/4 sleeve t-shirt. With a unique design capturing Johnny in action, this tee exudes raw energy and intensity through its versatile 3/4 sleeves for any weather. Stand with our legendary co-host, Johnny North. Make a bold statement in the wrestling community by getting yours today, exclusively at merch.ringsidereport.net.
Get ready to amp up your betting game with Ringside Report Network's latest knockout offer. We've teamed up with our pals at Bet99.com to bring you something that will shake up the betting world. Dave's Picks with boosted odds. Here's the lowdown. Normally you see odds like -200 over at Bet99, right? Picture this. We hit up our buddies at Bet99 and worked out some magic. Suddenly those odds? They're looking a whole lot sweeter at -150. That's right, and we're all about getting you those exclusive, juiced-up odds, only for the Ringside Report universe. So here's the game plan. We dish out the picks, and you keep those eyes peeled. You might see a number on Bet99, but hold up. Wait until Saturday morning rolls around. Thanks to those boosted odds we've snagged for you, those numbers will look much better. I'm all for Bet99 doing great, but let's not kid ourselves. We want to win big too. It's all in good fun, and hey, it's part of the thrill of the game. They're in on it, and we're in on it. It's all about having a blast while pocketing some extra cash. Ready to take advantage of those boosted odds? Go to the special Ringside Report Bet99 link on your screen. We're all about seeing how much we can boost the odds for you, our loyal viewers. And a huge thank you to Bet99 for their support of the Ringside Report Network.
Yes, indeed. It's Wrestling Uncensored. It's the WrestleMania 40 preview show. Let's go. We are here. We are finally here. It is WrestleMania Eve. Feels like Christmas Eve, Big Johnny. This is the most wonderful time of the year. It's WrestleMania time. We are finally here. The biggest weekend in pro wrestling of the year. WrestleMania. 2-day extravaganza from the WWE. Other shows going on all over the place. Of course, the Philadelphia area right now booming with professional wrestling. And we are here live from the Ringside Report Network studios to cover it all for you on Wrestling Uncensored. And we have a big show for you tonight. We will, of course, talk about CM Punk and all the things that he said this week. We'll also talk about Cody Rhodes and some of the things that he said, some of the things that he did tonight on SmackDown. We just saw Cody Rhodes, and we'll see a lot more of Cody Rhodes over the weekend. Johnny North, we are here. We're finally here. WrestleMania is upon us. How you feeling?
Well, feeling a little relieved, actually, after I think we all survived, it sounds like, that last big snowstorm, hopefully, of 2024. And I'm guessing a lot of people that you know, people I know, actually, that survived the earthquake in New York that just happened today. So I'm glad people are okay for the most part, as far as I know. It's been hectic, but we made it. WrestleMania 40, just mere hours away.
Yes, I know a lot of people were having travel issues, of course, going to Philadelphia because of the snowstorm. It was a surprise for a lot of people. But I think everybody is all right. All the people that I know that made their way to Philadelphia seem to have made their way safely and survived the earthquake, so everything is good. Shout out to everybody tuning in here live, all the members over at join.ringsidereport.net. Thank you for supporting the Ringside Report Network. Showing up with your name in green in the chat, of course, like Angelo Contagonis. What's up, Angelo? Angelo out in Laval. And everybody else tuning in. Matthew Henley. Hi, Matthew. Hi, Alex. Hi, Lorne. Ryan. It's WrestleMania weekend. We are ready. And the Blue Jays did beat the Yankees 3-0 today, unfortunately. But we'll get them tomorrow, boys. We'll get them tomorrow. We're not here to talk about the Yankees. I could go on all day about the New York Yankees. We're here to talk about, by the way, did you see that title belt? I'm kind of tempted to buy it, the WWE Yankees belt. I was like, combining two of
like
my greatest loves, wrestling and Yankees, maybe, you know? But I don't know. It seems kind of useless.
500 US.
What?
That's a lot.
It's what?
Isn't it like 500 US?
Oh.
Yeah,
well,
isn't it that expensive?
That's ridiculous. I'm not spending that much money on a trinket. It's ridiculous. It's cool, though.
You could if you want to spoil yourself.
No, I mean, if I'm going to spoil myself with that much money, I'm going to spend it on something that I can do something with, you know? It seems kind of pointless. That's like
wherever Aaron Judge was today.
What?
You didn't hear what he said? Like, they asked him where he was during the earthquake, and he said no comment.
Yeah, so?
And they just laughed.
Yeah, so maybe it was a joke. Maybe he didn't want to say. Who cares? It's not your business where the captain was. Don't question the captain. All right? Don't ever question the captain, John. How dare you?
No questions at all.
No.
Just do your thing, that's it, right?
Yeah. I'm not spending 500 US on that. I could buy one of those Meta Quests for 500 US. You know what I mean? Or almost. I'm thinking about getting one of those. I'm still thinking about it.
I thought you were going to say Yeezys, but okay.
Yeezys are they're not that expensive. 500 US. Yeezys are like 300 Canadian for the most, maybe 400 for the most expensive Yeezys. 420 maybe at the most. But that's Canadian dollars. Anyhow, WrestleMania, John, what are we doing here? It's WrestleMania. Do you expect surprises like legendary performers coming back this weekend? Do you think we'll see Hulk Hogan in some sort of capacity, Stone Cold Steve Austin, John Cena? Are we seeing those type of guys this weekend, or is The Rock there and that's enough?
I would like surprises. I don't know about you. I like surprises. I like little legends showing up. It's cool. I don't think we need John Cena showing up. He showed last year. He's kind of washed. But Stone Cold Steve Austin, yeah, he's great. He's still good. Still usable.
Yeah. Do you think there's any chance he gets involved with what The Rock is doing and perhaps, helps Cody and Seth, or just Cody in some capacity, because he's got that history with The Rock at WrestleMania? It is WrestleMania 40 after all, 40th edition of WrestleMania, which is amazing in itself because we've been covering this stuff for so long. The fact that we're at WrestleMania 40, we've been watching it, right, since we were children.
You have children now after this.
What?
You have children now at this point. We've
yeah,
watched
exactly.
it for so long.
And they're watching WrestleMania, right? It's crazy. What's the first WrestleMania you remember watching?
Like live or on tape? Because live took a while, actually.
Yeah, I think on
live,
tape. On tape, I remember. I think the first Mania I watched on tape was 6. Hogan Warrior.
Lucky. For us at the video store, they only had like 9.
Oh, I had 9.
It took a while.
My video store had 6 and 9. So those I rented a lot. I watched those ones a lot. And I think I saw 8 too. I was able to get 8 on video.
I'm so lucky. 8. I think 8 was like the last one I saw of the originals. It was the hardest one to find.
It was a good video store. Video Daisy on the corner of Beaconsfield and Sherbrooke. I think it's an H&R Block now or something. I don't know. But it was a good video store. They had good stuff. If you're old school NDG, Video Daisy. Back when I was a kid.
But live. Live was 15, I think, for me.
Oh, I think mine was 14. Austin Michaels.
Okay.
That was crazy.
I had a better main event.
Yeah, but that WrestleMania was incredible. Like, that was really...
It was.
When the Attitude Era began. Mike Tyson, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was... WWF is taken over, and it was just explosive from there. Stone Cold wins his first WWF championship in the main event. It was huge. It was the passing of the torch. Shawn Michaels leaves after that. It was a very big WrestleMania, and that was the first one I ever saw live on pay-per-view. Begged my parents to order it, and they did. And then we taped it on VHS, and then I watched it over and over again, of course. Was that illegal? I don't think so. You're allowed to do that for yourself. I think you're just not allowed to sell it or something. I don't know. Whatever.
Exactly.
The statute of limitations is far past at this point. Can't be prosecuting me for VHS. Technology is obsolete. So it's just amazing to see how far WrestleMania has come, that we're here at WrestleMania 40. It's a 2-night thing. They're filling a stadium 2 nights in a row. You see the business that they're doing for SmackDown tonight. They packed the arena. I think they might have been able to do a stadium for SmackDown too if they wanted to. Why not? I mean, yeah, but the people are there.
Well, given the card they gave us tonight, I wouldn't expect to pack it up because it wasn't a great card tonight. But we didn't expect SmackDown to be good because Raw was really the big show.
But you combine it with the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. That could sell.
I think they could probably do the stadium 3 nights in a row, honestly, because everybody's there anyways. If you're there for WrestleMania weekend, you're there by Friday night because Saturday everything's going on. So why not get a ticket for SmackDown at the stadium? Maybe it's cheaper than Mania. So if you don't go to Mania, you can kind of, get into SmackDown. It's like slightly less expensive. And they don't have to fill the stadium. Or maybe they don't want to do a show where they don't fill the stadium the night before. Maybe they want to, save the stadium and the majesty of it for Mania only. There are many reasons why they wouldn't do it. But I think if they wanted to, they probably could. I think there are reasons not to, but I think they probably could fill that stadium because the wrestling fans are there right now.
I think you're right, but I think it worked with their angle they lost tonight. It worked that they actually had both, right? Into the opening angle on SmackDown.
Yeah, with Logan Paul and everything. That whole thing. Yeah. And of course, they're back in the arena in Philadelphia on Monday night for Raw, too. So they're really milking that crowd, right? They're going hard.
That is a lot for Philadelphia to take. It's amazing. But Philadelphia is a great fan base, so I'm not surprised that they could pull this off so many nights.
Yeah, but like you said, it's not just people from Philadelphia. It's people from all around the world. I know several people from Montreal alone that made the trip to Philadelphia. You got to figure people from the New York area, the tri-state area. You know what I'm saying? People are making the trip. Wrestling fans make the trip from all over the world for WrestleMania. So the crowd isn't just people from Philly. It's everywhere. It's a global event. It really is. It's become this massive attraction. It's very impressive. It's very impressive to see how far they've taken the wrestling business. They didn't used to do stadiums every year. Now they do 2 nights in a row, stadium shows. It's impressive. It's cool that pro wrestling is this big that they can do this. It says a lot about pro wrestling and how far we've come. So I'm here to celebrate the WWE and WrestleMania and pro wrestling because they're not just selling 2 stadiums. There are plenty of other shows that are sold out, indie shows all over Philadelphia right now that are also killing it. So there's a ton of wrestling and a ton of wrestling fans, and the appetite is there for a variety of different types of pro wrestling going on right now. I'm watching Rampage as we speak.
And a big thing, too, tomorrow, like at noon, they have an NXT show that has over like 13,000 fans. That's just another thing they're doing.
Yep. It's great. I'm very happy to see what's going on with the WWE and just with pro wrestling. I think pro wrestling right now is very healthy. And this is where I thought we would be when AEW started. This is kind of what I envisioned, this point in time. I think it took a little longer to get here than I thought it would, but the business being alive as it is, the competition, despite what WWE wants to say and despite the numbers and whatever, AEW is competition because from a critical standpoint, from a wrestling fan, hardcore wrestling fan standpoint, the vocal wrestling fan standpoint, we're watching both shows, right? So it is competition in a way, and WWE can say it's not, but whatever. Even though it won't ever take the WWE out. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because you're not going to destroy WWE doesn't mean you're not competing with WWE for eyeballs of wrestling fans and wrestling dollars. You are, at the end of the day. And there was a lot of AEW, WWE talk this week, right? A lot of that. But I think both companies are doing great.
Too much.
Yeah, a little too much. A little too much. I think it's good to celebrate both. I saw Kenny Omega put out a tweet that I thought was just awesome because, he doesn't have to, but then he does.
In regards to Randy Orton comment, right?
No.
It was a thing. Oh, okay, wow.
He says, with this weekend being the year's biggest and busiest for wrestling and wrestlers, I thought it'd be best to hold off on streaming tonight and support the various festivities. We'll be back next week. Good luck to everyone. It's just like, I'm not going to do a show, watch wrestling. It's a good wrestling week. Good luck, everybody. He's just like, it's nice, I wish the wrestling fans were more like the wrestlers, because the wrestlers are happy that there's so much wrestling going on and that it's alive and there's competition for, them. You could have a bidding war for certain talent because, the companies are there. It's the fans that are like, this company sucks or that company sucks. It's like, this is good for everybody. AEW has made wrestling better. I don't know if you remember the WWE before AEW, but it was not this good. It was not.
No, you're 100% right about that. But like, if you remember, I don't know how it was for you in high school, but for me, it was like this: WWE fans, WCW fans, and then you had ECW fans, and then a mixture of a bit of both, or maybe just two. Like, there was always that divide in a sense, and it's just more well known because we have social media now.
I never noticed a divide. Everybody I knew kind of liked everything. It was
really?
like,
wow, okay.
Yeah, I never really had that. All the wrestling fans I knew growing up were like, yeah, we like NWO and DX and all that stuff, and we like it all because it was cool. All the things that were cool we liked, The cool stuff in WWF and the cool stuff in WCW we liked because it was fun. How could you not like the NWO? How could you not like Stone Cold Steve Austin? How could you not like The Rock? How could you not like Sting? I didn't like Goldberg. I never liked Goldberg. But I liked Bret Hart when he was in WWF, and I wondered where Bret Hart was when he was in WCW. That was always weird. It was like ECW, Bret was there one week, and then it was like, where's Bret? How come Bret's not on the show? It was annoying. But
times.
How could you not like the WCW Cruiserweight division? Like, there were so many cool things about WCW. Rey Mysterio was there. Chris Jericho was there. WCW was very cool, but WWF had cool things too. They had Val Venus, man. They had The Undertaker. They had The Rock. Both companies were cool. I never really noticed people saying, WWF is no good. How could you say that? How could you say WCW was no good? I saw a lot of complaints about Hogan being on top about WCW, right, when Hogan was in the NWO, but I don't know. I didn't notice it as much as it is now. Probably you're right because of Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff. It's more obvious, but it's strange to me because I do like both wrestling companies, and there are things about both wrestling companies that I don't like. But for the most part, I watch them. I enjoy them. I like wrestling. They do wrestling, and they do wrestling pretty good. I don't know how many wrestling companies these people have seen, but a lot of wrestling companies don't do wrestling as well as AEW and WWE. Not even close. You can have a lot of complaints about AEW and WWE and, what they do, but try watching some other wrestling shows once in a while.
I get you. I completely understand you. People want an alternative. That's it. And sometimes when you get that alternative, it's not what you expect, and you get a little bit angry about it, and then you vent your frustrations. They have a certain standard that they demand. And I think WWE's helped in that sense, where it's like, this is how good it should be. And then when you get something different, not everyone's going to like that. I could see how a lot of people thought ECW was kind of trashy.
Yeah.
I particularly thought it was different and violent. Wow, this is something new and different. This is interesting. And a lot of stuff that WCW and WWF took was from ECW. So I kind of respected what ECW did in a sense, how it helped push the business and made it better in the end. But some people saw it and just well, this looks like crap because all the wrestlers don't look as good and the lighting isn't as good, the crowd's not as big. There was that fan base too.
Yeah. But they had RVD, you know? And he was cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Right.
just, like, AEW has some cool stuff. They've got Christian. They've got, I'm blanking on what's cool in AEW right now.
Wow, great time to blank on this stuff.
Swerve.
I mean, there's so many guys that you like. Yeah, there
Swerve.
you go. Come on.
Hangman, you know? And get this, AEW has really cool guys like Swerve and Hangman and the Young Bucks, okay? And WWE has really cool guys like Cody Rhodes and CM Punk and Roman Reigns. You see what I'm saying, John? I like the Young Bucks a lot. I think they're great. And I also like CM Punk a lot. And I think he's fantastic. You know?
Well,
It's
there's
not
a
that
lot we
hard.
can go different directions.
You know what I mean, John? Like, it's not that hard. It's like, you don't have to like both guys. You don't have to like either guy. But, like, you can. It's okay. People trying to take sides. Now, let me tell you something. J. Cole, the rapper, sucks. And Kendrick Lamar is the best. I will take sides in that. No, I like J. Cole. I think he's good. I like Kendrick better, though. Anyhow, but that's rap. That's different. It's different, John.
I'm sure you're excited for Lil Wayne, though, tomorrow.
Lil Wayne is going to be performing at WrestleMania.
He's going to be involved in the Usos match in some capacity. I'm not sure what, but he was on Raw, and Jay said, like, come to WrestleMania, and he said, yeah, so he's going to be there.
Lil Weezy.
What is he going to do? I don't know.
Lil Weezy.
He doesn't look the same anymore. What happened to his jaw? Like, something happened to him.
Lil Wayne?
Did he get, like,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Break
He's
his
just
jaw or
older.
something? Like,
I don't know. He looked the
he's a
same
lot
to me.
older. Yeah.
I find it interesting that Meek Mill is a part of WrestleMania. For WWE to go with Meek Mill, I know he's from Philadelphia and all, but to go with Meek Mill at this point in time is a move.
Well, if we're going to go down that road, I thought it was a move for Samoa Joe to mention Diddy, but he did. So, I mean, kudos for him for, saying whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm. What did he say to Swerve? Like, I'm going to make you feel like you stayed too late at a Diddy party or something? Like,
Pretty much that, yeah.
oh, my God. What was he saying he was going to do to him? Because if you stay too late at a Diddy party, apparently, some bad things happen to you. That Diddy maybe does. The diddler. Diddy the diddler.
Was Lil Wayne involved too, or?
I don't know. I don't think so. He hasn't been named. But Meek Mill, is implicated in all of this. So for WWE to attach themselves with him right now, he's a controversial figure. You know?
Yeah, but they had Diddy as a guest host one time, so.
Yeah, but they wouldn't now.
Yes. No, they wouldn't now. It's true.
You know what I'm saying? And like Meek Mill, like who knows what he's been up to? He's definitely heavily implicated. There's no other rapper celebrity name out there more implicated in the whole Diddy thing than Meek Mill. And he's like part of the WrestleMania festivities. They chose to go, yeah, let's get Meek Mill for this. He's from Philadelphia. Any problem with Meek Mill? Nope. We're good.
Yeah, isn't he doing the opening? He did the opening tonight, right, on SmackDown? Is that the opening for tomorrow too?
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah, not the best choice.
No.
Not the best choice, but they
didn't
see this coming.
Especially with all the Vince allegations. They got a lot of controversy swirling. They want to add Meek Mill. Why don't you just have Puff Daddy perform? Just go full Diddy. Get Puff Daddy, try to get R. Kelly via satellite from jail. Maybe Bill Cosby to do a little stand-up at the end of the show. Send everybody home confused. And then trot Vince out to just dance with some of the divas, pal. Huh? No? Bad idea?
Probably a bad idea, yeah.
So maybe no Meek Mill. Like, what the hell, man? How about saying, yeah, let's... Meek, I know you're saying none of this is true, but we're gonna step away right now. You know? But no, they're like, yeah, Meek Mill, sure. You've been doing what?
Nothing's been proven, so I guess that's their story to it, I guess.
Nothing's been proven. And who knows, like Meek Mill may be a victim in this whole thing too. Possibly. Diddy may have done things to him that he didn't want to happen, you know? Like, it's not clear. But he may have been doing things too, like with Diddy to other people. It's not clear what's happening, but his name is attached, you know? And you don't want your name attached to that right now, because who knows how deep it's going to go. It's just like, if I were the WWE, I would go, I don't think we want Meek Mill around right now because, like, it's just not safe for our biggest show of the year.
I get you, but, like, isn't Nick Khan also, like, implicated now with the whole Vince scandal? Like, didn't his name come up now?
What?
Because didn't they list, like, all the people that knew about it and didn't? Like, they say Nick knew about it. And, I mean, maybe it isn't him exactly, but...
Well...
You would imagine.
Who else, right?
A good possibility, yeah.
Yep. Like, that stuff, it's not going to go away. It's not going away, you know? And it's just going to get kind of messier for them. So I think, you know, they should be more cautious, but they're not. It's surprising. And Jason Pete says, J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar both suck. I disagree, Jason Pete. I think they're both good rappers. I think they're both good. I like them both. Matthew Henley wants to know if we watched the CM Punk interview. Yes, we did. We will talk about it a little bit later, Matthew. Stay tuned here to Wrestling Uncensored. Johnny North, I do want to preview WrestleMania, though. We should preview the big show.
A lot of matches.
Wrestlemania. And we have a vague idea of what will be on what night as well. I think. Right?
We have the whole thing, though, don't they? Didn't they say what would be on Saturday and Sunday?
I think so. I think we pretty much know, but the card I have in front of me has 7 matches night 1 and only 6 on night 2. Is that possible?
That's correct. That's how they have it, yes.
That's fantastic. Only 6 matches? I imagine they will be very long.
Yes. The main event, especially the last one.
Mm-hmm. Roman and Cody will be lengthy. You think they go an hour?
I'd say 40. That's my guess. That's still a lot, 40 minutes. But I think 40.
I think there's going to be a lot of shenanigans, a lot of interference, a lot of stuff going on. It could go over 40. I think it's going to go about 50. I think it'll go under an hour, but like I think it'll go like between 40 and 50, you know? Like, I think it'll be like 45-ish, maybe 48.
40's max for me. Like, I don't think they should do... I still think 40's too much. I mean, maybe keep it under 30 will be best, but I think they're going to do a lot of shenanigans, like you said, so it's going to be long.
With The Rock involved, you know? Everybody involved. Who knows who they bring out for this match, right? Okay, let's start with the beginning with night 1. Rhea Ripley defending the Women's World Championship against Becky Lynch. I have enjoyed the build to this match. I liked it. I've enjoyed the promos. I like Becky. I like Rhea. I think they're both two of the best women's wrestlers in the world, two of the best wrestlers, two of the best pro wrestling talents in the world. They are needle movers, both of them. Legit, bona fide superstars. And if The Rock was not on this show, they would be main eventing night one.
Should they?
I think so. I'm looking at the card, honestly. Yes. Like, if not for The Rock and Roman versus Cody and Seth, which will obviously main event, it kind of has to, I think they are the main event. Outside of that, what is the main event? You think it's Gunther and Sami Zayn? I don't think so. The six-man ladder match tag thing, six-pack, no. Jey Uso versus Jimmy? Maybe, but I don't think so. I don't think you could do a six-woman tag as the main event, as appealing as that match is. Damage Control versus Jade, Naomi, and Bianca. You certainly can't do Rey and Andrade versus Santos and Dirty Dom as the main event. So if you look at night one, John, yeah, I think outside of the Rock's match, it would be Rhea and Becky main eventing night one. Unless... different things happened, and Punk was around, and it would be him and Seth on night one, and then Roman and Cody on night two or something, like if The Rock wasn't around. But, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. That's a good case right there. That's a good possibility. But this goes back again to the Rumble. When they said whoever wins the Rumble gets the main event spot for the title, it should be Bayley and Io, and they're not in that main event spot. False advertisement. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe change the Rumble in the announcements just so it gets you a title shot and not one of the main events, whatever. No, the main event, like you said.
I mean, they call every match on the card a main event at this point, you know?
They do.
If you have a 7-match card and 4 of them are called main events, are they really main events? Sorry, what?
I just feel like they failed Io and Bayley. I don't know if you felt that way.
You froze out on me, John. Are you there? Oh, there you are. Can you hear me? Uh-oh. John's disappearing. I think John's having some technical issues. I don't know what's going on.
No, I'm good now.
You all right?
Some hiccuping.
Okay.
I'm good now, I think, yeah.
You just froze. You disappeared.
I could hear you, though. But,
yeah.
Kind of the whole Becky, Rhea, and just how should have got the Rumble win. This goes back to that talk. We used to talk about that like many months ago. It should have been that. They were saying that was the main event spot.
Yep.
And Bayley and Io, it should have been for the Elimination Chamber. I thought the build was all done by the Rumble, and what have we done since? Not much of anything, really. Mm-hmm. I feel they've kind of failed on that and gave all the attention to Becky and Rhea, which is fine. I mean, it is probably the few people care about the most, but they failed Bayley and Io in the end because of that.
I think they've done a decent job building Bayley and Io. They had the whole Dakota Kai thing. Was she going to be with Bayley? Was she going to be with Damage Control? Eventually she turned on Bayley. They did evolve that after the Rumble, John. They didn't do nothing.
I mean, compared to Becky and Rhea, though, it just felt like it was definitely number 2. Definitely, like, lesser than. Like, to me, Becky and Rhea, and I think a lot of people say, too, like, that is the main women's match for WrestleMania.
I think they've done a really good job of building it, and I think there's 2 reasons why that's a perception of this match. One, I think, is because Rhea Ripley is the number 1 star in the WWE. Like, maybe not the top star, but the top women's star in WWE right now, right? I think that's pretty clear. And, you know, one of the top stars in all of pro wrestling. And also, Becky and Rhea doing those in-ring, face-to-face promos, having those interactions in the ring. Io and Bayley can't do that because Io doesn't really speak English. So she's not capable of doing those promos and having those interactions, and it's been mostly kind of backstage, pre-taped stuff, which I think works, but maybe doesn't have the same impact of them cutting promos on each other, saying mean things to each other face-to-face, or doing angles on a MMA talk show type of thing. You know? It's a different build, and Bayley and Io have gone at it a different way than Becky and Io. Or, sorry, Bayley and Io have gone at it a different way than Becky and Rhea. But I think, you know, there are a few reasons why. But mostly it's just because Rhea is the one. You know? She's the number one. She's the Roman Reigns of the division. Whoever she wrestles is the big match. If Bayley was wrestling Rhea, that would be the top match.
And that's pretty much why I'm picking Rhea in this one. I feel like they're just building her as a star still, so Becky's already made. So I think Rhea's going to take it.
You know, I think you're right. I was thinking Becky was maybe going to win, but I think this is where Rhea does take it and maybe starts to become disillusioned with the rest of her group, who maybe starts losing. You know, if they lose the tag belts, maybe she's unhappy with Judgment Day. I'm not sure what they do with Rhea Ripley going forward, but I feel like she could drop the belt here. But at the same time, at the same time, I feel like Becky, you know, she could easily win. She's Becky Lynch. She hasn't been champion for a while. She's done a really good job of building herself up here. And Rhea's held the belt for so long. If Becky doesn't beat her, who does?
I completely agree with you. It's very possible. This is why it makes this match more compelling. Because it's like, it really could go either way. I feel, again, with the other one, it's like, well, it feels like it's pretty much almost a given that Bayley's going to win.
Even then, I'm not so sure.
Wow. Okay.
I do feel like Becky, in this moment, I think the right move is to put Rhea over at WrestleMania. You know?
But?
No, I don't think there's a but.
Oh, wow. I was expecting your butt to come up. Okay.
No, I don't think so. And then I saw somebody bring up Becky's contract, like there's talk that Becky's contract is up in a couple months or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if they give her the belt here. I feel like if Becky's contract is up and she doesn't have a new deal, you really have to have Rhea beat her here. And I think you want to have Becky beat Rhea Ripley, take your championship, and then walk out of the company? I mean, she could, realistically, if she doesn't have a contract. It's just, you know, if Becky says, I'm retiring, I want to have another kid, I don't want to wrestle anymore, I want to go to AEW, whatever, you just had her beat Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. So if she doesn't have a contract and there's nothing in place that assures WWE that she's staying, I think the best move to protect the company and to protect their asset, which is Rhea Ripley, would be to have Rhea win. And I think even if Becky is staying and she has a contract for another 10 years, I would still have Rhea win. Unless, you know, the long-term plan is doing it again next year and maybe the year after, and it's like, well, Becky wins this year and Rhea wins next year. When Charlotte faced Rhea at WrestleMania the first time, Charlotte won. When they went again, Rhea won. So maybe Becky wins the first one. I'm starting to convince myself of Becky now. It's really a toss-up, John. This is a very tough match to call. Some of these matches are tougher to call than others, and this one is really like, I don't know. Should we go to the betting odds? What do you think?
Yeah, well, why not? It's fun to check those. I'm still not going to change my pick, but check them out.
Oh, it may help me change my pick, my man. Let me tell you. I want to cheat. I want to win, John. Let's see. Becky. Becky. I'm not seeing Becky.
We'll definitely have different picks. There's so many matches. There's no way we pick the same ones the whole way through.
Whoa. Becky plus 275. Rhea Ripley minus 450, the favorite. Pretty heavy favorite to win. Interesting.
Bigger favorite than I expected, but definitely. I wouldn't expect that big of a favorite. Wow.
I'll go with Big Time Bex. What the hell? I kind of want to see her win, and I feel like Rhea has been champ for so long. I don't know who beats her if Becky doesn't, especially on Raw, right? There's nobody.
Oh, I hate to say it, but it's probably going to be like Liv Morgan or something like that.
Liv Morgan? Not Liv Morgan.
I could see it happen. I could see it.
The daughter of Matt Morgan. She Matt Morgan's daughter?
Plus, we're getting a draft in a month or so, and no, I don't believe they are related whatsoever, even in kayfabe.
I know, they should be, though. They should be. Matt Morgan! Liv Morgan! Okay.
That's one match. We've done.
Hey.
We're going different.
We're doing well. We're doing well. Gunther, the Ring General, against Samuel Zayn. Intercontinental Championship on the line. Chad Gable and Sammy did a weird promo thing on Raw this week.
I liked it.
You liked it?
It was different. Like, I find they made Gable too much of a comedy actor. This made him serious, and it's like, I would like Gable to be like this more often. The only thing that sucked was the way he came out and got destroyed. I hated that.
Yeah, he got beat, right?
No, like Gable got like thrown out by Gunther, and then he's just dead the whole time. Then Sammy gets his butt kicked, and Gable's down the whole time.
Yeah,
that kills him. Completely kills Gable. He's nothing.
I think they're trying to make him into a manager.
Sad. Very sad. Like he's better than that.
Yeah, but I thought this was going to turn into Gable finding a way into this match, but he's just like training Sammy in like a cheesy kind of Rocky style way. I don't know. I didn't like it. I thought it was like, come on. Really? This is what we're doing with Chad Gable? I just didn't like it for Gable. For Sammy, it's fine, whatever. He needs a little build, a little montage thing going into it. But I feel like Sammy, too, like, the acting, it's over the top. Like, I see you see the acting there, you know? It's like, I don't love it. I didn't love it. I don't see Sammy beating Gunther. He might. Like, they might give it to him. I just don't see it. I think Gunther wins. I don't see a reason why you have Sammy beat Gunther here. Like, really going to give Sammy a little babyface run with the Intercontinental title and then maybe feuds with Chad Gable and dropped it to him at some point. Like, maybe. Maybe. I'll go with Gunther, though. The ring general. He's great.
I completely agree with you. I think Gunther's going to win. I think it's going to be a competitive match, and I think Gunther's going to have to cheat to win, but I still think that's what's going to happen. But I enjoyed what they did on Raw, actually, except for how they destroyed Gable, pretty much killed him as a serious threat whatsoever now.
I think the match will be really good, too. I think Sammy's going to go all out. It's WrestleMania, you know? Sammy's going to go for it. Gunther's going to go for it. It's going to be a good one. These two guys know how to wrestle. What?
We've seen this match, I think it was back in the spring or summertime last year when Sammy was like a tag champion. They had the match, I think, and Gunther won. It was a great match. They shouldn't have used on Raw, but they've done it before, and it was good. So I expect it to be great as well.
I think it'll be better. It's Mania. The title's on the line. I think it'll be great. Intercontinental Championship match at WrestleMania. You know, you got a lot to live up to, and I think they're going to deliver. We've got the 6-pack tag team ladder match for the WWE tag team titles. We saw tonight Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate get a win over Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller! Love that guy. Grayson Waller! He lost. He took the fall. And then Judgment Day beat up all those guys. They came out all of Judgment Day. JD McDonuts, Dominic Mysterio, all the boys. Finn Balor, Damian Priest, even Rhea Ripley was there. They were beating up those 4 tag team guys because they're setting up. They're promoting for the 6-pack tag team ladder match challenge. Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest, the tag team champions, defending against the DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, The Awesome Truth, The Miz and R-Truth, The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, A-Town Down Under, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, and the New Catch Republic, Pete Dunne and Talabate. I heard the Talabate are taking over Afghanistan again. It's bad. So I want New Day to win. Because I always want them to win. Because they're the best tag team in this match by far. Like, so far. Like, it shouldn't even be a question that the New Day wins this match. They probably won't. But I really want them to win because of these teams, the New Day, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods are the best. They are a Hall of Fame tag team. The New Day, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, Big E, was maybe the greatest tag team of all time. So I would really like to see them walk out of WrestleMania as the tag team champions because Kofi and Woods with the tag team titles seems right, and it seems like enough time has passed since they've done it to have them do it again. And why not in a 6-pack challenge when anything can happen? Why not have it go back to the New Day, and then all of a sudden on Raw, we got Kofi and Woods walking out with the tag belts again. Looking fantastic. Gold on their shoulder, back on top, where they belong. So I want them to win, and like maybe Miz and Truth will win, but honestly, I don't want to ever see Miz win anything. I don't think he should. He sucks. He's wrestled long enough for me to have seen everything he's done and to give you a proper assessment that he just sucks. He's not very good. He's never been good. He will never be good. Don't give him tag team titles, because if he is tag team champion, then that means we have to watch him wrestle more, which I don't want to see. I like R-Truth. I wish he had a different tag team partner. I like Kofi and Woods. The rest of the guys, whatever. Maybe you give it to A-Town Down Under and Grayson Waller. But probably not. I give it to the New Day. I'm going with the New Day, John. I mean, I don't even think I'm going to be right on this. I think they probably won't win, but I don't care. I love those guys so much. I'm going to predict that they win, and I will hope that they win. And if they do win, I will be very happy. I will be very, very happy. So, I was kind of bummed out when Kofi Mania happened because he beat Bryan Danielson. And he stopped like a really great run that Bryan was on. But, it was okay. But I would be way more happy for this than I was for Kofi Mania. So give it to Kofi and Woods. What do you think?
Well, it's funny, like watching Raw, it feels like New Day's probably going to win. So I think your pick isn't really that bad. Like, I'm still going to keep my pick that I had last week. I still think that's what's going to happen, but maybe the directions change. Watching Raw, it feels like maybe they've changed their mind. And I feel New Day could win this match. It's very possible, but I'm going to stick with Truth and Miz winning the Raw tag titles and A-Town Down Under winning the SmackDown titles.
Okay, well, it is for the unified tag team titles. Johnny North predicts a split. I predict the New Day, because they're the best. Awesome Truth are the odds-on favorites right now. John, plus 100. DIY, plus 250. A-Town Down Under, plus 400. The Judgment Day, plus 400. New Day, plus 700. Oh, no. And New Catch Republic, plus 800. So, New Day is a long shot. Awesome Truth seem to be the favorites at plus 100 to win this match. Johnny North predicting a split, going with Awesome Truth to win the Raw belts. And who? A-Town Down Under?
For SmackDown, yeah.
For the SmackDown belts. And I'm going with New Day to win it all, sucker. They want all the gold. Hulk Hogan, they're coming for you.
Well, honestly, I hope you're right, though. Like, I would not mind New Day, and especially keeping undisputed tag team champions. I don't think we need 2 sets of titles for Raw and SmackDown.
Ray Cruz in the chat, member of the team over at join.ringsidereport.net. Ray says, R-Truth and Miz win, Judgment Day lose, and possibly break up of the stable. He also thinks Gunther will win, but Sammy will win in a rematch in Montreal. I think that's possible. I think that's very possible. They're not doing TV anywhere in Canada in April other than Montreal, which is odd. Usually when they do Montreal, it's part of a loop. They'll do Toronto for SmackDown or Ottawa for, They're not doing anything like that. They're doing Raw in Montreal April 15th, which just seems like an odd move. Raw this week is in Philly. We're coming up on Monday. Next week, the 15th of April here in Montreal. The following week in Columbus, Ohio. Like, they're not in Canada. Yet they're coming here for like a random Raw the week after WrestleMania. It does feel like a night built for Sami Zayn. So I think, Ray might be right about that. You know what I mean?
No, I think you very much could be right. It's kind of odd that it happened. I thought maybe they're doing the draft, but apparently the draft, we're still going to have to wait a couple more weeks. Because I think we've had the draft before in Montreal, so I thought maybe they're doing some sort of tradition possibly. But I'm okay with not having that because I was not a big fan of them having the draft. Watching that is very long and painful, actually. So
yeah,
I'm going to see it live. I'm very happy.
Yeah, I was excited about seeing a live draft, and then I went to the live draft, and I was like, this is really boring. It was one of the most boring WWE live shows I ever went to. It was awful. So I hope they don't do a draft here. But I think, Sammy may get some revenge and get a big win in Montreal. I could see him beating Gunther here in a rematch. I really could. But not at WrestleMania. I think he'll do it here.
I think Montreal might break their sellout streak. They said they've had like 14 sellouts in a row. Like Montreal, they've only sold like 9,000 tickets so far. I mean, we still got time.
Yeah,
but
wait till Mania happens.
That's a big ask.
Well, what's good about that is that when they're really pushing their live attendance, right? They're really pushing like, hey, we have better attendance than AEW. They're a little indie show compared to us, right? Triple H is talking about AEW and how it's like, I mean, not directly saying AEW, but you know what he's saying, right?
Well, 9,000. That's more than what they had. They had 7,000, right? So I mean, they've already got more than what AEW had.
Yeah, but still, the WWE. What I'm saying is they're pushing the fact that they're doing really good attendance. They're pushing the fact that they're doing a sellout streak. And if they have a sellout again coming up Monday night on Raw, you would think that they would want that to continue the following week here in Montreal. And how do you do that, John? Well, you add some stuff to the card that makes people want to buy tickets. You say, hey, you know who's going to be on Raw to do a promo? CM Punk. And then all of a sudden people, are buying tickets because he will sell tickets. He will.
Kevin Owens, too. I mean, get Kevin Owens for that. I think that'll help a lot.
Sami Zayn will wrestle Gunther for the Intercontinental title. It'll sell tickets.
Yep.
The Rock will be there. It'll sell out immediately. You announce The Rock, it'll sell out. Right?
Yeah, I don't think we're getting The Rock, though, sadly.
I know, but I'm saying, I mean, if they threw a CM Punk out there, I think that they would sell a couple more thousand seats at least. So.
Yeah, Matthew makes a good point, too. Lower the ticket prices. That would help.
Well, they may do that closer to showtime, but we'll see. I don't know. Next at WrestleMania, we got Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. We had main event of SmackDown tonight was Jey Uso versus Solo Sikoa. That ended when Jimmy Uso attacked Jey, caused a disqualification, and then Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes came out and saved the day and beat up on Jimmy and Solo. And then Cody cut this promo about how he's going to take out Roman at WrestleMania and they're going to beat The Rock and all of this. So that was the end of SmackDown, and Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso one-on-one. Uso versus Uso. We got Tuso. So I'm going to go with Jey. I think the babyface Uso wins this one. I think it'll be a fun match.
Well, not just that he's the babyface. I think he's the better Uso singles wrestler. Jimmy mainly wrestles tag matches and some singles, but I feel like he never wins a singles match. Jay's the one they actually push as main event. Jey Uso main events Raw not too long ago. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Jay's going to win. I feel like there's no doubt about this one. This is probably the lock of WrestleMania.
I think this is one of the easier ones to pick. Wouldn't it be crazy if Jimmy won?
Just to throw people off.
Yeah, because I feel like everybody's picking Jey Uso to win this one. And Jey Uso right now, let me see. Only minus 200 favorite. Jimmy plus 150. It's like not that far apart. Rhea Ripley is a bigger favorite than Jey Uso.
That's crazy. I'm very surprised by that.
Isn't that weird?
I
don't agree with that. I think that betting odd is wrong. I think that is incorrect. So, I got Jey Uso as a big favorite too. I'm surprised it's only minus 200. If you could bet on it, I would. I don't know where you could bet on that. I don't think Bet99 has it. This is betting odds from somewhere.
Pick on this one.
Unfortunately not. Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi taking on Damage Control, Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane, a 6-woman tag, and it will be Jade Cargill's WWE debut, debuting at WrestleMania.
Not many have done that. Very, very few have debuted at Mania.
Who else has debuted at Mania? Giant Gonzalez?
Michael Cole?
Kane?
That wasn't his debut. Remember, we saw his debut, actually.
Was it a match?
Survivor Series. Yeah, against Mankind.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So, what wrestlers have debuted at WrestleMania? Is it just Giant Gonzalez, John? Like, not people who did a one-off, but like debut at Mania and then go on to a career.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are. I just can't think of any on top of my head because none of them are really big stars. But
I watched that WrestleMania 9 VHS a lot, John. That's a callback, John. That WrestleMania 9 VHS, I watched a lot because that Giant Gonzalez match against Undertaker was on it. WrestleMania 9, Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. That was his debut match, right? Giant Gonzalez?
Well, yeah, he wrestled in WCW, but I think in WWF, that's when he first started. If I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken, too. But I think that's the first time I remember seeing him wrestle.
Me, too.
I remember, too. I don't know if you did this in high school, too, like watching the whole all-day WrestleMania. Like, they had that for WrestleMania 2000. You could watch all the WrestleManias up till WrestleMania 2000. The whole day of WrestleMania. I thought that was so cool back then. Now I can't even stand to watch a whole day of wrestling. It's too much.
No, I never saw that. I didn't know that. That's pretty good. Yeah, but I couldn't do that.
Now, not even close to half, actually, now. It was only like 1 to 15 back then.
Here's what I didn't like about this promo tonight that they did. Bianca Belair and Naomi come out together, And they talk, and they say you're going to win and everything, beat Damage Control. And then they introduce Jade Cargill, who then talks and says they're the big three and tells Kyrie and Asuka and Dakota they're in the eye of the storm. Why has Bianca just become a sidekick to Jade Cargill now all of a sudden? I don't like the kind of dropping down of Bianca Belair, who is a main eventer.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you that. Like, what was the idea of this promo? What they were talking about? Like, obviously they're talking about them facing Damage Control, but they had some sort of unity synergy with what they were saying. But to me, it just wasn't great.
No.
It wasn't really interesting. Like, I know they're trying to like cut each other off and then have same lines together, and it's like even the crowd was just very much like, eh. I wasn't really excited about this whatsoever, and it's weird for Jade, who last week's like, oh, I'm better than everyone, I'm the best of everything, and now she's like, oh, I love my partners, like they're so great, and we're gonna take out Damage Control together, and it's like, wow, you completely did a 180 in 1 week, your whole character. It's crazy, like direction. And like, why are they like JR's Angels for some reason? They just come out with cowboy hats.
Yeah, what's with the hats?
I didn't get that. We're not in Texas here. Like, what's going on? Like,
I don't understand why they were all wearing those cowboy hats. It was weird. And Jade's kind of had a bull on it. I was like, did The Rock give that to her?
that's a good point. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah,
It looked like The Rock's bull on it. I was like, what's going on there? Did you get that from the final boss? I love how he says that. I love how he said, the final boss. So good. That's what happens when you fuck with the final boss. It's fucking tremendous. He's so good. Oh,
got a lot of intensity.
Oh, I love it.
Intensity.
I love it. He's so good. He's on fire, man. He's so much better than everybody in wrestling. It's like not even, it's not fair. He's so good. It's the people's
Beyonce
champ. You know, it's the most electrifying man. The Rock, the great one, is back. It's not Dwayne. The Dwayne is not in the building. It's The Rock. I'm surprised he's not asking people to eat the people's strudel at this point. Do you like strudel or do you like pie? I saw The Rock do a Q&A at some sort of WrestleMania thing, and fans were asking him questions. I was dying for a fan to ask The Rock if he likes strudel or if he likes pie. I think it would have popped him.
The thing is,
right? If you asked The Rock if he likes strudel, if he likes pie, don't you think he would laugh? That's what. If I got a mic and I could ask The Rock a question, that's what I'm asking him. Rock, strudel or pie? The people want to know. Pie, always, jabroni. You know?
Yeah, of course that's what he's going to answer. But you're not going to get like someone asking that kind of question anymore.
I know.
Because there's a lot of new fans, and he doesn't use that material anymore.
I know, but it was fun. The people's strudel. That's what he was talking about. His penis. The people's strudel. Strudel. That's the word. Strudel cracks me up, brother. I just, The Rock is great, and he's here. And we got to appreciate him while he's here because he's kicking ass right now. Angelo Contagonis dropping a super chat says, word is they're doing away with the Undisputed tag titles at WrestleMania. Johnny might be right. Johnny's on to something. Did you hear a rumor, John?
I'm not right. I hope I'm wrong. I don't like the way they said it on Raw, but Cole says, like, the match is over when the titles are off the top. They come down. I didn't like the way he said that.
I don't like that either. I like the one set of tag titles. Two sets
I agree.
Unnecessary. Unnecessary. And it looks like The Rock is probably going to, dip out after WrestleMania. So appreciate the great one while you have him. And he is in top form right now. Top form. Of the iterations of The Rock that we've seen over the past few years, like the stuff with Cena, it really was mostly the stuff with Cena. right? Because before that, he was gone mostly. Like, since he lost the belt to Brock, which to me was really the end of the Rock's era, that's when it was over, right?
Well, he came back for the Evolution thing, right?
Yeah, but that was a one-off tag match with Foley. That wasn't really much of anything. Right?
Yeah.
But he really only came back. He did the thing with the Wyatts for 2 minutes there at WrestleMania, like little appearances here and there, but he only really came back for anything significant when he did the stuff with Punk, and then he did the stuff with Cena. And it wasn't my favorite. It wasn't this. This is... Like, The Rock had that one promo with Cena that he cut. It was kind of like what he's doing now with the Instagram promos, you know? He did that one that he just did on his own where he's like, you know why men boo you, John? Because real men see through bullshit. You remember that promo?
Of course.
Classic, right? But after that, he was on TV and he was kind of, you know, it was what it was. They had their moments, but it, you know, he's writing stuff on his hand. Like, it wasn't, and Cena was getting him, and it was, like, say what you want about Cena, John. I know you don't like John Cena, but he held his own against The Rock. These guys are struggling to hold their own, and The Rock is just on another level. He's doing more than he was with Cena. Because with Cena, he was still, like, kind of a babyface. But he's going full heel here. He's embracing the heel persona. He's turning on the fans. He's cutting promos on the fans, which prime Rock, peak Rock, was all about. You could boo him, you could cheer him, but he was going to call you a jabroni nevertheless. It didn't matter what your name was. It never mattered what your name was.
Well, first off, The Rock got Cena back, talking about his ex-wife. Remember that whole thing got canned from his sing-along thing that he did?
Which was wild.
Yeah. But also, like on Raw this week, until, like, he said he wasn't going to wrestle, the crowd was pretty much on The Rock's side. Like, they were chanting for The Rock. They were, everything The Rock was saying, like, they were on his side until he's like, I'm not going to wrestle. Then they booed.
All that stuff a man's got to do what a man's got to do, and that's whoop Cody Rhodes' ass at WrestleMania, and the fans are, Rocky, Rocky.
Yep.
Me too. Me too. Get him, Rock.
We saw it tonight.
Get him, Rock. Yeah, you saw Cody's promo talking about winning and stuff there. Mixed reaction. Mixed reaction for Cody. Some cheers, some boos. When he's face to face with The Rock, with the great one, with the people's champ, what is the crowd going to do? How is the crowd going to react when it's actually in the ring? No more bullshit. It's The Rock and Roman Reigns standing there. And on the other side, you got Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. When on one side you see The Rock and Roman Reigns. And on the other side you see Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. You know?
Who look very small.
People are going to go, those two Samoan guys look pretty cool. I like those guys. The final boss? Yeah. That's good. What's Cody, the crybaby? His fans call themselves crybabies and they like that? They embrace that? That's weird. Here's a great thing about if you have Roman just beat Cody at WrestleMania. The fans aren't going to riot because they're Cody crybabies. They aren't going to do shit. Those people aren't doing anything. If you hate The Rock and you think Cody needs to finish the story, he needs to win, you're not rioting. You're not doing nothing. WWE doesn't need to worry about you jumping the barricade. It's not happening. If you can't appreciate the greatness of the final boss, I don't know what to tell you. And Roman Reigns, that's greatness on another level. As he tells you time and time again, God mode. Tribal Chief. The #1 star in professional wrestling. You're really going to let Cody Rhodes take that? Really going to let Cody Rhodes take over? I like Cody, but I don't know. It's a big sacrifice. It's big. It's big. And if he does take over, I don't think you have him take over clean. I think you have to have The Rock be involved. There's going to be some shenanigans if Cody Rhodes walks out champion. I'd like to see a dusty finish. The Rock. Let's get to the Rock match, John. I guess we're doing a 6-woman tag. We should finish up. Bianca, Jade, Naomi versus Damage Control. I think Bianca, Jade, and Naomi win. Jade's not losing her first match in WWE. It's ridiculous.
This might be another lock, I think, possibly for a win.
100%.
Yeah, I think, the faces win that one.
They're minus 2,000.
Pretty good. That's on par. That's what it should be.
Yeah, it is exactly what it should be. They're facing the tag champs, but the tag champs are not defending their belts at WrestleMania. Women's Tag Team Champions, Asuka and Kairi Sane, not defending at Mania. Maybe that'll be the 7th match on night 2.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe.
Probably not. I don't think they'll do a 7th match on night 2. I think it'll be 7 night 1, 6 on night 2. The other match we have is Rey Mysterio and Andrade against Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio in a tag team match. Dragon Lee was attacked by the LWO tonight, and Andrade stepping in to help Rey Mysterio, turning on the LWO guys who he was briefly with, I guess, and now joining Rey to help him face Santos Escobar and Dirty Dom at WrestleMania. So Andrade back with Zelina Vega, who was his manager way back. Zelina seemed quite happy. It was a nice little reunion for them on SmackDown tonight. I think Rey and Andrade probably win. I think Rey and Andrade probably win.
I completely agree with you. It kind of sucks for Dragon Lee. Like, you have a WrestleMania match, and then right before it happens, like hours away from it, you get booted off. I mean, yes, Andrade is a bigger name. It'll be a better match in a sense that you care about more because he should be more involved in those characters. But sucks for a guy to get canned like that right before. I mean, he's a good talent too, Dragon Lee.
Yeah. Any idea why?
Oh, Andrade's a bigger name, and it makes sense for him to be involved with people. His history with Rey, Dom was talking for so long. It kind of ties that all in together.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a lot of history with Zelina. Santos, not so much, but he's got history with his boys at least. Makes sense.
Yeah. Dominic and Santos minus 180 the favorites. Rey and Dragon Lee were plus 140 the dogs, but that's Rey and Dragon Lee. I guess we don't have updated odds for this one with Andrade, but I'm going to go with Rey and Andrade for the win.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, Andrade, it's his first Mania back. I expect Andrade to get the pin. Probably on Dom.
Yep, I could see that. Or I could also see Carlito being upset because Carlito kind of seemed like, hey, let me team with you, Rey. And then he's like, nah, I got Andrade. It's cool. And Carlito's like, that's cool. But he seemed like maybe it's not cool. Maybe Carlito cost him the match.
A lot of turns.
Yeah.
A lot of turns. Like, Andrade just turned, right? So.
Yeah. So, who cares? None of this really matters. Fine. This whole storyline is like, whatever. You know?
Well, Carlito's a better heel. I won't disagree with that, but just saying, like, he did a lot of flip-flopping within just a couple of hours of each other. It's a little much.
They barely use Carlito. He doesn't
he's
wrestle
getting a good
much.
payday just for showing up.
Yeah.
Just show up at Mania and get a payday. It's good.
I mean, those LWO backup guys and Carrillo and Garza, they were in the Andre Battle Royal. They're just kind of extras at this point.
By the way, that Battle Royal,
Sucked.
that was terrible.
Yeah.
Like, it was Angel, right? Angel just practically leaped out. He got hit and just like leaped out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was horrifically bad.
Yeah.
And what happened to Zawa, like, that's terrible, man. Like, I know it wasn't intentional, but man, come on.
Yeah, Bronson Reed threw Tozawa over the top rope and I guess tried to throw him at Otis, but like way overshot, and Otis couldn't catch him. Otis, I mean, he tried, but like there was no way he was catching him, and Tozawa just crumpled outside the ring. It was a horrific bump that Tozawa took. It was the highlight of the match. I think Tozawa was okay. Apparently he walked away and he was fine, but it was pretty scary. It was pretty dangerous. And Bronson Reed.
Ivar.
Was it Ivar that tossed him? I think you're right. It was Ivar. Bronson Reed wound up winning, but Ivar did. Yeah, it was Ivar who tossed Tozawa over Otis. Otis, Ivar, Tozawa, and Bronson were the final four, which tells you all you need to know about the Andre the Giant Battle Royal that we saw on SmackDown tonight, that Bronson won.
Chad Gable was highlighted to be on there, but he was not in the Battle Royal. And he was our pick, I think, last week.
Yep. Wasn't in it. Otis was. And Bronson Reed won. Cool. The Rock and Roman Reigns will main event night 1 of WrestleMania, taking on Cody Rhodes and Seth the freaking Rollins. If Rhodes and Rollins win, all members of the Bloodline will be barred from the arena during the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match between Roman and Cody. And if Rock and Roman win, then it will be held under Bloodline rules on night 2 for the title between Roman and Cody. I think we're going to do Bloodline rules. I think that is the move. I think that opens the match up to far more possibilities. I don't think you really want to do Roman Cody one-on-one with no interference. I think it's unnecessary. Unless, Cody and Seth get their wins on the night 1 and they just lose night 2 and the fans go nuts. I don't think it should be out of the realm of possibility for Roman Reigns to be able to beat Cody in a clean fashion one-on-one. He's been champion for 3.5 years. I know he's had a lot of interference along the way, but I think they could do that, and I would believe it. I think the fans would be really mad, so I doubt it goes down that way. I think most likely what's going to happen, and I've been saying this now since they set up the matches, is we see Rock and Roman win on night 1, setting up the Bloodline rules match on night 2, so you have the possibility to include The Rock on night 2 because he's there and you want to use him. And if you bar him from ringside on night 2, what the hell's he there for? So you're going to use him. It's going to be Bloodline rules. And I think we'll see a lot of shenanigans. I think there'll be some sort of confrontation, miscommunication between Rock and Roman on night 2 that will lead to Rock turning on Roman, Roman turning on Rock, some sort of confusion, Cody Rhodes capitalizing, 1, 2, 3, he walks away champion. That's how I see it going down. John, I think you're seeing it the same way, and I think if you're watching this stuff as much as we do, it's hard not to see it go down that way. It just seems like the time. If Cody's not going to win here, he probably never wins, and I feel like they want to do it. They want Cody to win, and they're going to find a way to do it, and they'll find a way to do it while protecting Roman and setting up Rock and Roman down the road.
Well, like I agree with you. Like I think we're pretty much on the same wavelength on this one. But I also acknowledge Fred Garcia from last night saying the whole like Damian Priest idea. I'll agree with that. Like that's interesting. And I'm like, you know what? That's not bad actually. But they're not gonna do that. Like if you watch Raw, like it really feels like we're getting a whole Bloodline Rules match because that's what they did for Monday Night Raw, and the crowd loved that a lot. So I think people are almost expecting to get that kind of reaction. You need that kind of backyard wrestling kind of atmosphere. People love that the most. So I think that's the way they're going to end WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Also acknowledge Antoinette, who's in the chat, by the way, and acknowledge her Blue Jays tonight.
Yes, of course. Antoinette saying Roman is leaving. Is Roman leaving after Mania? Is that a thing?
Well, because they mentioned on Raw and his A&E biography that if he loses, he's gone. So that could happen.
Gone.
He just said gone as in like, oh, is he ever going to come back? It's going to be like, you don't remember when Brett left after he lost the Iron Man match? Brett going to come back? Brett did come back, though. I think Roman will come back.
Be interesting. I still haven't seen that biography on Roman. I got to check that out. So much to watch.
There's a lot to watch.
So much to watch. I did watch the Bryan Danielson Miz rivalries show that aired before that, though, which was all right.
I imagine that's more slanted toward the Miz now these days, I'm guessing.
I mean, they gave him credit, which they shouldn't. But it was good. It was good stuff. Interesting stuff about Bryan. Okay, so that's night one. We've got Bloodline winning, right? Rock and Roman, they got to win.
Yep. It'll be good. It'll be fun to watch.
I think on night two, we've already kind of previewed it. Cody wins. Bloodline rules, but Cody will win. So I think there'll be something going on with Rock and Roman where at the end of the night, Rock and Roman are on opposing sides and Cody's champion.
We'll get the wave of interference, the Bloodline, bunch of people, but this is where, you have the glass break, Stone Cold comes out, clears the ring, and then it just comes down to Roman and Cody in the end. And then Cody can finish his story.
So you think Stone Cold's going to take out The Rock, and there's not going to be anything with Rock and Roman?
No. Like, he takes out, like, the other guy. He'll take out Solo. He'll take out Jimmy. Those
Tama
guys.
Tonga, maybe, you think?
Oh, maybe. Like, it'd be nice to have some extras. That'd be fantastic. But, no, I agree, too, with the whole, like, Roman and Rock will have their interaction. But I don't think that will tie in with Stone Cold. Stone Cold will be a separate thing because there's just so many goons.
I don't think Stone Cold's going to be involved in this. I think people are dreaming.
Okay. I'm just thinking the best way, the best reaction you can get. Yeah, have a Stone Cold appearance. And this is a great place to do it.
It would be cool. I'm not saying it's not a fun concept. I doubt it. But, it's WrestleMania. They could, they do stuff like that at WrestleMania. So, yeah, maybe. That'd be fun. I love Stone Cold. Stone Cold and The Rock again in the ring at WrestleMania punching each other. I'm not opposed to that. But we both think Cody finishes the story, walks out champion, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. How about Seth freaking Rollins? Does he walk out World Heavyweight Champion, or does Drew McIntyre walk out champion, or does neither man walk out champion? Maybe CM Punk walks out champion, or Damian Priest cashes in Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I think Priest in the end. The only question I have is I could see McIntyre actually beat Rollins, but in the end, I think Priest walks out as World Heavyweight Champion.
I think he probably does. Roman Reigns and The Rock, by the way, minus 900 favorites, so pretty heavy favorites to win the tag
It was
match.
like that last year, too, though.
What do you mean?
Wasn't Cody like a huge favorite last year? Whoa, what was that?
Something. I'm not sure what that logo is. We'll figure it out. Was Cody a favorite last year? I'm pretty sure I picked Roman to win, didn't I?
Yeah, well, he was definitely a huge underdog, Roman, last year.
Yeah, well, he shouldn't be. He's a tribal chief, goddammit. I would love to see him walk out still champion at the end of the night. I think people would go bananas. I would love it. It would be the funniest outcome.
I wouldn't mind it, to be honest, too, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's too bad. It's been a good run. Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre. Does Drew win and then Priest cashes in, or does Seth win and then Priest cashes in?
It's tough. Like, I feel it's better if Priest is doing the cash in. It's better to do it on Seth. Like Seth battled through it hard, battled all the adversity, and then Priest finally cashes in on him. I feel like that's what should happen.
I don't know if Priest cashes in or if Drew doesn't just win the belt and then carry it into that big show. They're doing that Clash at the Castle in Glasgow, Scotland in June.
There's time.
But that's a Drew McIntyre show right there. That's in his hometown, in a stadium. It's for him.
Challenge the title. Challenge for it. It's all right.
Yeah, but challenge who? Damian Priest? That's a weird move. I think it's going to be Drew as champion against maybe CM Punk challenging at Clash at the Castle.
You think Punk's coming back that early? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. He seems to be recovering at a very rapid pace, according to him. And he was talking about some pay-per-views that weren't announced yet for the summer that he was looking at possibly participating in. And he said that he knew about some pay-per-views in the summer that they hadn't announced yet, and he was looking at them. And then, like, a couple days later, or the same day or the next day, something, they announced a Clash at the Castle in Scotland, and I was like, oh, that's weird. Didn't you just say there was some shit in the summer they haven't announced yet that you might look at? And then they announced this big stadium show against the guy that's been shit-talking you. I mean, it's in his home country. You know what I mean? Like the Drew McIntyre show, CM Punk's talking about a summer show, you know, that hasn't been announced. I just connected dots. No?
Well, I just want to say I think Matthew Henley's right. I think it's going to be during the match. So that way no one gets pinned. That's how Priest will do the cash in.
I think if it happens during the match, Priest cashes in, fails, and Drew walks out champion.
Interesting. Okay. Is that your pick?
I'm going with Drew, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's his time. It's his time. He's been doing well. I've enjoyed the recent Drew McIntyre run. The CM Punk stuff has been fun. He's got a bit of an edge to him now.
I agree. No, I agree. And I think they'll give it to Drew, just not here. I think at the Castle.
Okay. All right, so I'm going with Drew, and you're going with Damian Priest?
That's right.
Okay.
During the match.
Io Sky defending the WWE Women's Championship against Bayley. I got Bayley winning.
Yeah, I got Bayley too. I feel like she kind of has to win at this point.
Yeah, it's just, it makes sense for the end of this this story with Damage Control. Drew McIntyre, by the way, minus 400 the favorite. Seth Rollins plus 250 the underdog. So Drew is a favorite to win. Bayley also favored to win minus 300. EO plus 200.
I thought Bayley would be a bigger favorite. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I could see Damage Control interfering.
It's not impossible, but no, I feel Bayley. Not a lock, but I feel Bayley's going to win.
Damage Control's match is on night 1. This match on night 2. I could see Damage Control getting involved, and then maybe Jade, Bianca, and Naomi getting involved too.
Well, that'd be the whole, story coming together, right? Because Bianca doesn't really like Bayley, but she actually helps Bayley. So yeah, that'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm. And they've kind of started that already, right? Where Naomi's like, come help Bayley. And Bianca's like, nah. She's like, you hate damage control. And she's like, yeah, but I hate Bayley too. But eventually Bianca kind of decided to go along with it. So I think she may help. We'll see if they get involved with that on night 2. We both have Bayley as the new women's champion. LA Knight versus AJ Styles. LA Knight. Yeah. I feel like they've been doing their best stuff online and not on TV against each other. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the police thing was like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like,
do you see the fight though?
The fight was good. Yeah, the fight was fine.
Yeah.
But the police thing was bad. He almost choked on his own gum like tonight. I don't know what's wrong with TV. Like, TV is not so great for the feud.
Yeah, I don't know, but they had a little fight at like an autograph signing that I saw today. And It was really good and stiff, and it looked real, and AJ came up bleeding from his nose in a real way. Like, it was the best piece of business that they've done leading into this match. And it was a short, minute-long clip on Twitter. They didn't even show it on TV tonight.
Kind of too bad. They should have. I think it was one of the best things they've done. Like, I'm going with LA Knight on this one, but this is tough. I mean, I could easily see them give it to AJ. I would not bet on this match, but I think LA is going to win.
Oh, I think this is a AJ Styles handpicked match to help a fellow wrestler. I think AJ Styles. I see this match a lot like when Chris Jericho wrestled AJ Styles in his first WrestleMania match. You know, here's a guy in Chris Jericho who recognized a talented guy like AJ Styles, maybe needed a helping hand from a veteran to get over and to have a big match at WrestleMania. Did Jericho put him over, though? Or didn't Jericho beat him?
I feel Jericho won, didn't
Jericho
he?
won, yeah.
Didn't Jericho beat him?
Jericho beat him. And I think a lot of people are expecting LA Knight to win, and I could see AJ Styles beating him in that kind of way. I feel like this is that type of move where AJ's either going to do the match, but I don't think AJ's going to do the Jericho thing of like, no, actually I'm going to win because we're going to, I think he's just going to lose and it'll be that. But I could see him winning too. Like, I don't think it's so cut and dry that LA Knight wins. But I think, I feel like this is AJ kind of doing a favor for LA Knight. And he's going to do the favors and lose to him at WrestleMania. Give him a big win at WrestleMania. LA Knight kind of made his name in a very similar way to AJ Styles. He was a TNA champion just like AJ Styles, or Impact Wrestling or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think AJ kind of wants this guy to succeed and is trying to help him out. And AJ was helped out a lot by some of the veterans in the locker room when he was coming up in the WWE. He was given a lot of big spots. Jericho took care of him. Undertaker. He wrestled Undertaker's last match. I feel like AJ Styles is kind of paying it forward here with LA Knight. So I think LA wins. But he might do the Jericho thing where everybody thinks LA's going to win and AJ wins. Because that's what Jericho did to AJ. Right? Which was a big surprise. It was one of those where it's like, and Jericho's done that a lot in his career. Every time you think he's going to lose, he wins. Every time you think he's going to win, he loses. It's good. He's good at that. So I could see AJ winning. LA Knight, minus 600 the favorite, though. Tough. I'm going to go with LA Knight. I just feel like he should win. He's on fire right now. He needs to keep that momentum going. He needs a big win at WrestleMania. And then who knows what's next.
So night 2, I think we're pretty much all the same, I think. It's just night 1 where we differ.
Mm-hmm. So far, we're not done, though, John. A couple more matches on night 2. Logan Paul defending the United States Championship in a triple threat against Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. We saw Randy and Kevin do the Kevin Owens show tonight on SmackDown, and then Logan Paul appeared on the screen, and he's at the WrestleMania location. So Kevin and Randy are in the arena, but the stadium is right next door, so they go to find Logan Paul, and of course Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. They're the flunkies of Logan Paul, and they follow Kevin and Randy to the stadium, and then when they get to the stadium, they can't find Kevin and Randy, and Logan thinks he's outsmarted Kevin and Randy by heading back to the arena, and then he proceeds to cut a promo about how stupid all the fans are and about how stupid Kevin and Randy are because they fell for his trap, and they're going to get attacked at the stadium, and he's here at the arena, and it's all fine. And then, of course, what happened? Kevin and Randy show up, and they didn't fall for the trap at all. They outsmarted Logan Paul, and then they beat up Logan Paul, and they stood together side by side, still cool. Kevin and Randy have never turned on each other. They just remain friends, hating Logan Paul to the end. But, of course, there can only be one winner in a triple threat match, and Randy and Kevin will wrestle each other tomorrow. I think they'll probably team up against Logan for a while, but at a certain point, once they take Logan out, one of them has to win. And I think Logan will wind up winning because Kevin and Randy will start attacking each other, and Logan will pick up the pieces, find an opportunistic way to score a 1-2-3, and walk away still WWE United States Champion. Logan Paul, the Maverick. John, who do you got?
Well, I'm the same as you. I have Logan. I think we've had Logan for a while now. I don't know about you. I was expecting an RKO tonight on Kevin. I thought that's how we would go into Mania, but we didn't see that. So they're saving that. So that's going to happen, but that's what's going to cost them the match, though. They're going to take down Logan by them, together, and then they'll take out themselves, and then Logan will capitalize. So yeah, Logan's still going to be U.S. champion after Mania.
Yep. And he is the favorite, minus 300 going into this. Kevin Owens plus 325, Randy plus 350. So odds makers believe Logan Paul will win. And finally, John, we got the Pride. The Pride is what they're called, apparently. Bobby Lashley, Angelo Dawkins, and Montez Ford take on the Final Testament, Karrion Kross, Akam, and Razar in a six-man Philadelphia street fight.
So they did this tonight?
Who, the Pride?
Yep.
Cool. So they're like the Nation of Domination a bit.
It's a Philly street fight. That's what the Nation did, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Chicago street fight.
Chicago street fight, yeah. My mistake.
It was the Nation versus LOD and Ahmed Johnson. It's a classic.
Yeah.
Chicago, John. Chicago. At the Rosemont Horizon. WrestleMania
13,
I want to say 15?
No, definitely 13.
13. Okay, you're right. No, you're right about that, yeah. I knew it was in that range. I just wasn't sure. I knew it was either before or after 14. Wasn't sure.
15 was Philadelphia, I think.
Yes. Yeah, and of course 13 was Chicago because that's where Brett and Austin took place in Chicago. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Who wins this stupid street fight, John, that I don't care about? This is the one match at WrestleMania I don't want to see. Every other match is cool. Well, the Rey and Andrade versus Santos and Dirty Dom, I don't care about. That's the throwaway match on night 1, and the throwaway match on night 2 is this, the 6-man street fight. Don't give a shit.
I feel you. I got you. A lot of people I know who are watching WrestleMania don't watch most of the shows. They're like, what is this match? What is Bobby Lashley still wrestles in WWE? This is what he's doing? I got a lot of that this week, actually.
Yep.
I'm like, yep, this is what's happening. And yeah, I can see a lot of people not caring about this because I don't know if we really care about this. We watch it all the time. That's pretty bad. But thankfully it's a street fight, so it just be chaos. And I think that's the best way to do this kind of match. Just fun, chaos, and then it ends maybe 7 minutes. Are the women involved in this, by the way, or is it just the men?
Just the men. It's a 6-man tag. But It's a street fight, so they can get involved, right? Anything goes.
They will have a spot, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised by that. But
they just can't get involved in the finish because they're not, they can't pin each other to win.
Right. But I think Bobby Lashley's crew is going to win. The Pride will win, I think.
Antoinette wants to know if we're going to Money in the Bank in Toronto. That's a quick and easy no from me. John?
I think you said you were going, or you were thinking about it.
I thought I was maybe thinking about it at one point in time, but I think I've thought about it, and I don't want to talk about my shoot life, the other stuff going on, but things change for me, and it's not possible. I'm not this year. I know. Nope, can't do it.
Oh wow,
I have other obligations.
Okay.
I have other obligations that take up a lot of time, and I can't go to Money in the Bank. I don't have a lot of time off this year, but next year I'll have way more paid time off, and it'll be dope, and I'll be going to a lot of stuff because I'll have lots of money and lots of time to do everything. So that'll be good. I got big plans.
Well, you've been in Money in the Bank.
I got big plans.
Before.
Huh? I've been to 2 Money in the Banks before. 2.
Yeah.
2 times. So, yeah. I don't need to go to Toronto for Money in the Bank because, honestly, Money in the Bank is not as good as it used to be. And that Money in the Bank, I mean, I'm sure it'll be a fun show and everything, but I feel like the Money in the Bank ladder matches were way more bananas before, and it's kind of been, it's tamer than it used to be. And I don't know if you'll ever beat that one Money in the Bank match that I saw where the participants were just like, it was ridiculous, right? It was like, I always go back to it. What was it, John? Do you know? I mean, RVD, I could name a few of them. It was like RVD, Christian, Sheamus, Punk, Bryan, and Randy, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And that was the match.
Pretty good. I mean, you had 2 men's Money in the Bank ladder matches back then.
Yeah. But that was the one that was like, holy shit. Like,
well, that was the main event, yes.
Yeah. But that lineup, like, can you believe that lineup? CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Rob Van Dam, Sheamus, right. Christian, Randy Orton. That was the Money in the Bank ladder match. I was there for that. I don't know if they'll ever have a better 6-man lineup for a Money in the Bank than that. It's really hard to beat. Punk, Bryan, RVD, what? Christian? Sheamus? Randy Orton. Yikes.
That was also when Dave created a moment that was deleted from WWE history as well.
That's right. That was in Philadelphia, right?
That was in Philadelphia, yes, it was.
Yes, because Heyman turned on Punk that night and joined up with Curtis Axel for no fucking reason. That was the beginning of the end of Punk. That was the beginning of the end of Punk. That was like, hey, you're not doing anything with me here, guys. What the hell are we doing? And then eventually he's like, I'm out. This sucks. Right? Once Heyman turned on him and joined up with Curtis Axel, and that was what Punk was doing, I think Axel maybe even beat Punk. You're like, yo, what are you doing to Punk right now? It was nuts.
Now he's happy, Punk, though. He's happy now. So
for now. We'll see. Because he's become everything he's hated. He's become Brock Lesnar. He's become, the part-time megastar that shows up once in a while. Of course he's happy. Like, he was the workhorse that was pissed at those guys, and now he's become that guy.
Well, wasn't he upset about guaranteed money? He says that's what's ruined wrestling?
Yeah.
That everyone has guaranteed contracts?
Sure. Sure it has. He was just, I don't know. We'll talk about Punk. But I think we've done WrestleMania, John. Who do you pick for this? I didn't pick somebody. I'm gonna go with the heel teams. The Final Testament will win. Karrion Kross and Goons.
One match we're against in this one. That's good. On that night, I think the rest of the matches were the same, but except that one match. Night 1, I think we have 3 different ones picks. I think.
I don't know. Let's recap night 1. I'll give my pick. You give yours. I think we both. Oh, I have Becky. You have Rhea. Right.
Right. Yep.
We both have Gunther to beat Sammy.
Yep.
I'm going with New Day, and you're going with a tag title split with Truth and Miz winning the Raw belts and Theory and Walla winning the SmackDown belts.
Yep.
Okay, so we're split there. We both go with Jey Uso over Jimmy. We're both going with Bianca, Jade, and Naomi over Damage Control. We're both going with Rey and Andrade over Santos and Dirty Dom. And then we're both going with Rock and Roman over Cody and Seth, right?
Yeah, I thought you were going the other way with the Rey match, but okay.
Was I?
You were thinking about it, but you're like, I guess, you stuck with Rey and Andrade.
Yeah, I just stick
the
with
odds
Rey and
are
Andrade.
against us.
They were the underdogs, I think, but I'm still going with them. So what do we have?
Okay.
1 or 2 matches different on night 1. And then on night 2, I've got Drew walking out champ. You've got Damian Priest walking out champ. Nobody has Seth walking out champ. We both have Bayley winning. We both have LA Knight winning. We both have Logan Paul winning. I'm going with the Final Testament. You're going with the Pride. I'm going with Cody Rhodes walking out champion, and you are too.
Okay, so 2 each night. We'll either
Sounds
be
about
mostly right or mostly wrong by our predictions, it looks like.
Yeah. It'll probably be 50-50. We'll see what happens tomorrow night at WrestleMania. We will be on right after WrestleMania for the WrestleMania post-show right here on the Ringside Report Network. WrestleMania Night 1 post-show will go on right after WrestleMania Night 1, and then our Night 2 post-show will take place on Monday night, a special start time of 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Monday night here on the Ringside Report Network, we will recap the whole weekend of WrestleMania, including Night 2, and get you ready for Monday Night Raw coming up on Monday in Philly. Johnny, CM Punk. Let's talk about the punker and everything that he has said and done over the past week. So he was on the Ariel Helwani MMA Hour and talked about pro wrestling and AEW and WWE and all sorts of stuff. And I'm not going to rehash the whole interview because it was like 2 hours and he said a lot. We can talk about certain things. First of all, I think it's pretty awful the way he was treated when he was injured. He said he got hurt in AEW and then was not taken care of, had to deal with all his own medical stuff, all his appointments, everything. No support from the company, and he heard from no one for 6 months while he was gone. After the whole brawl out incident, he heard from no one.
Big thing to mention, though, he said there was still an NDA from Brawl Out, so you couldn't really get into that too much. So there's a lot of details for that we don't know.
Yeah, he didn't really go into a lot of detail about that, but he did say that no one contacted him for 6 months while he was injured, which isn't great. It's not great. It's not a great look compared to WWE, who takes care of you, who pays for your surgery, it's a more professional outfit. They've got the money to do it, but it's not a good look for AEW the way they treat Star when he's injured, if they are treating him like that, and they are, according to Punk. Punk, he said a lot, John. What do you want to hit on? Yeah, go ahead.
Talk about Jack Perry, I guess. That's something that will impact the future, I think.
Well, he talked about what happened with Jack Perry, right? He said that he told Jack Perry not to use real glass, not to use a used car or a rented car, because he feared that they would stop renting cars to the wrestlers, which I don't know if that's true or not, but maybe. And he said Tony Schiavone was the one who was insistent that he go and tell Jack Perry not to do this stunt that Jack Perry was insistent on doing, and cursing everybody out and saying, I'm doing this and screw you and screw you. And Punk was the one, that had to go and intervene and say, hey, look, don't do it. And then Jack Perry, of course, did it on the pay-per-view a few weeks later and said, real glass, cry me a river. And then Punk described the scene afterwards as Jack Perry kind of saying, yeah, well, what are you going to do about it? And Punk's like, well, I'll show you what I'm going to do about it. And, Perry was agitated, and Punk felt he was too close and in danger. So he grabbed him, put him in a front face lock. He said he choked him a bit. He said he did the professional thing by choking him a bit, which I think, he's like, I didn't throw a punch. I just choked him a bit. And I'm like, yeah, fair enough. Honestly, as a man who chokes people, I can relate. And I think choking somebody a bit is fine. I think you could choke somebody a bit if they're being a dick. Like, if they're in your face and they're like, do something about it, and they get close, I think it's perfectly within your right to grab them in a front headlock and squeeze in a guillotine if they don't tuck their chin. And if they go to sleep, that's their fault. Is what it is. And I got a pretty good guillotine, too, so don't fuck with me. My guillotine is good. So, yeah, I like a good guillotine, and I'm certain that's what he did, because all pro wrestlers always hit that front headlock guillotine. It's like the go-to for every pro wrestler. You all know that. Right, John? You know that move.
Well, I just love how he's like, I was respectful. I didn't hit anyone. I just choked someone a little bit. That's it. And the greatest part is, too, he didn't say that he choked Jack Perry. He just said someone.
Oh.
So let's remember that, Tony Khan feared for his life. So it's not impossible that that's what happened with Punk.
I thought he said he choked Jack Perry and then yelled at Tony Khan.
That's what he said. But he also said, I just choked someone a little bit.
I thought he choked Jack Perry a little bit. I thought that was the implication. I didn't think it was somebody else. But honestly, I do think that it is kind of like the best way to diffuse a situation. Like, if somebody's coming at you in an aggressive way, you put them in a chokehold, and if they go to sleep, they go to sleep, and then they're going to wake up and they'll be fine. I think it's better than punching them in the face and cracking their head open and making them bleed or whatever. Just putting somebody in the chokehold is kind of a nice way to deal with a situation, honestly.
Wow. Again, there's no right or wrong in this situation, really. Like, who was right and who was wrong. Like, it's just a bad situation for everyone that was involved. The fact that Tony didn't do anything.
Yes.
The fact that Punk, albeit, like, yes, he didn't throw a punch. I still don't know if choking's the best idea in that point, and then, like, saying I quit.
Yeah. Well, he wanted to quit after Brawl Out, right? Like, he was done. He wanted to quit. I think he was looking for a way out, honestly. I think he wanted to quit after everything that happened with the Bucks and Kenny. When he came back, it was never going to work no matter what they did. And he was going to do whatever he wanted because he wanted out. And eventually, he got his way. But I think whether he knows it or not, consciously or subconsciously, after the whole thing with the Bucks, it soured his whole feeling on AEW. He wanted out, and he was willing to do whatever because he didn't fear the consequences, because he didn't care if he got fired. He wanted to be fired. Right? He was George Costanza at the office trying to get fired. Didn't even say that he was like... Did he say he was Costanza? Trying to get fired?
I don't know if he said that, but by him going to WWE, visiting them, like, that kind of, to me, kind of shows that he was trying to get Tony to fire him.
Yeah.
But Tony just wouldn't fire him.
And he said that the word betrayal was thrown around, too, after he did that, right?
Yep.
I think the most insulting thing that CM Punk said about AEW, like, he tried to say, oh, I loved my time there, and I made a lot of friends there, and it was good, and we did good matches and everything, and it was fun, right? He tried to make it seem like, hey, I'm not saying bad things about AEW, I'm just telling the truth, guys.
He does have friends there still.
Yeah, sure. Of course he does. But when you say that you're just in two different businesses, that you're in the business of selling tickets and making money, and AEW's in the business of having 5-star reviews from some goofs, that's insulting to the wrestling company. Because I can assure you that AEW is not renting buildings intending to fill them halfway. When they book a building for one of their shows, I think they are hoping and hopefully doing everything they can to fill the building to capacity. For CM Punk to say that AEW is not interested in making money, that AEW is only going to be around as long as Tony Khan wants it to be, basically saying as long as he keeps losing money, at a certain point he's going to want to stop losing money and he'll just shut it down. And that was what Punk was saying. AEW is not a real business, not like the WWE, not where he is now. Look at the arenas in WWE. Sell out everywhere we go. Because of me and The Rock. Punk, you're hurt. You don't have a match at WrestleMania. Sellouts are because of Dwayne. He's the international megastar. You're a wrestling star. It's different. It's different. The Rock is selling out a building. Like I said before, if you announce CM Punk is going to be at the Bell Center for that Raw show that's only sold 9,000 tickets on April 15th, you will sell 11,000 tickets. You will get 2,000 more people to buy tickets if CM Punk is announced. If The Rock is announced, you will sell that building to capacity. You could fit 20,000 in that arena if The Rock was announced. There's a difference. The sellouts are not because of Punk. So he that's clear. But for Punk to say that about AEW is insulting to AEW. You think Tony Khan is like, yeah, I don't care about selling tickets as long as we get good reviews, as long as our matches are great. That's all that matters. I can't imagine that's actually the attitude in AEW. That's the perception. Because you can't say that they're not doing good wrestling. Because they do have very good wrestling matches. They do have very good wrestlers. So you can't say, as a wrestling person, as a person who observes wrestling that isn't working for the Wrestling Observer, who's working, clearly and calling things down the middle, you can't say AEW isn't doing good wrestling, but you also can't say they're doing good business, because they're not doing good business. And that's what CM Punk is pointing out. He's saying, hey, these guys, they're not even trying to do good business. They're just a little company that Tony Khan is supporting with his daddy's money. And all they care about is having 5-star classics. And their guys don't want to work hard. They only want to work once a week, and they don't even want to do that. And they're all spoiled and entitled. And here in WWE, we work 7 days a week, and we're tough, and we're drawing houses, and we're making money, and we're making towns, brother. Which, that's another thing I don't understand. There was a point where the wrestling discussion was the WWE guys are working too hard. Their bodies are breaking down. They're on drugs. They're dying. Maybe we need to slow down the schedule. And now it's like, look at those bitches in AEW. You're just working once or twice a week. So weak. Such losers. Why don't they work every day like we do and have our bodies break down and never see our families and children? Triple H is like, I don't respect a guy in the prime of his career just starting out who doesn't want to grind it out. You don't respect a guy who doesn't want to see his family. I mean, you don't respect a guy who wants to spend time with his family and his loved ones while also making a very good living and living out his dream and performing at the highest levels in professional wrestling. Triple H was talking about Will Ospreay there.
Yes.
That's who he was talking about. He was like, he was talking, I think it was on Pat McAfee's show, and he's like, if a guy doesn't want to come here, he wants to go and work in the little company, good, I don't want him. If he only wants to work once a week and the travel's hard, and I don't want him. You don't want Will Ospreay? Really? Really, bruv? Really, bruv? You don't want Will fucking Ospreay? Did that nose get bigger, Triple H, or are you fucking lying, Pinocchio? What's going on? Fuck out of here. You don't want Will Ospreay. Guy's a generational talent. You can't help but be drawn to him. And he is going to wrestle Bryan Danielson on pay-per-view and tear the fucking house down. However many people are there. So, I don't like that attitude where you're like, work hard, don't see your family, what's your wife doing? Don't know. That whole speech. He's glorifying that. When I remember the conversation in wrestling not too long ago was like, hey, maybe this is not good for the guys. Maybe it's too much. And now the wrestling fans are like, yeah, AEW, they're such bitches. They're so scared. Why don't they wrestle more? They're so... It's like, yo, maybe because it's like really hard on your body. Have you talked to any wrestler that's wrestled for 20 years at that WWE pace? Ask them how their body feels. Do you think that these guys should have trouble walking when they're 50? Is this what you want from your pro wrestlers, from your heroes, from the people you supposedly love and admire? You want them to have health problems. Seriously, really bad health problems. And you want them to die young. This is what we're okay with. What the fuck? Like that conversation that's been happening over the past few days now, because of Punk, and now Triple H kind of doubling down, get the fuck out of here with that. Working once or twice a week as a professional wrestler and having the ability to see your family and kind of live a normal life and also bust your ass when you're doing those matches because you only have to work once a week so you can recover. You're going to have better matches. And if you're doing it regularly, you know, you're going to be in practice. You're going to be good. If you're working twice a week, 3 times a week, you're going to be good. You don't have to work 4 or 5 times a week every week. It's unnecessary. I think it's just, it was crazy for Triple H to say that. Just because he was able to do it while still seeing his kids because they were fucking McMahons doesn't mean everybody else is able to do it. It's really rude. Will Ospreay doesn't want to grind it out at the beginning of his career. Fuck out of here, man. You want him to have a broken neck? You want to paralyze Will Ospreay? Like, what do you want from these guys? Fuck, man. That's crazy. That shit pissed me off, honestly. Like, I don't understand how... And the wrestling fans kind of being like, yeah, those guys, what's their problem? What happened, John? What's wrong with people?
Well, are we going to talk about Punk or are we talking about Triple H here?
Let's start with Triple H for a second. Like, let's stick with Triple H here for a second. And, like, that whole comment about guys not wanting to grind it out at the beginning of their careers and everything. Like, Ospreay's not at the beginning of his career. And like to grind it out on a WWE schedule, I think, why? He's going to make money in AEW. He's going to wrestle amazing wrestlers in amazing matches. He's going to wrestle legends, current stars, future stars. He's going to draw money. I think Triple H is just mad he didn't sign him. He's just mad he didn't want to go. I think Triple H is just mad. And I don't think he understands that guys like Ospreay, Okada, Mercedes Moné, they're choosing to go to AEW over the WWE. And I don't think he understands why. I think he's just like, they're just soft. That's why. They just can't handle it. Or maybe they're making a better choice for their own lives. The longevity of their careers. You know?
I get it. I get why Triple H is doing what he's doing. I mean, he's got to put over, his company. He's got to put over why WWE is great. I mean, they are great. Yeah. No denying that. And I think you kind of hit the nail on the head right there. I think he made an offer probably to all 3 of them. And for whatever reason, they decided not to. And I think he got offended. And he's like, well, they don't want to be here. Like, fine. Like, we have the big houses. Like, it's a good kind of life we have going on. If you don't like it, like, obviously you're, like you said, soft. Like, you can't handle it. I don't want weak people around me kind of thing. Like, he's got to put over WWE and saying this is the upper level kind of thing. Like, WWE's got to say that for themselves. I think anyone has to say that for themselves. But I can understand how a lot of people would be offended by that. And Like, I'm not going to disagree that it's better for wrestlers to get more money and work less. That's not a bad thing. I think in any form of employment that you do, that's ideal, no?
Of course. But for CM Punk to say these things about AEW, like they're not in the business of selling tickets or drawing money. Like, what? Really? Come on, man. You saying that with a straight face?
I think Punk, it's just there's a lot of bitterness and anger. You could tell like he didn't want to say a lot of what he said, and it's like he said he kind of regrets saying it, but he still said it anyways. And I think there's just a lot of anger right there that he has, and I think it's best for him, his health, his sanity, that he's just not in AEW right now because it just wasn't good for him in the end. Like being around that kind of environment, I think was hurting him more. As much as I enjoyed Collision, I thought Collision was fantastic when he was there, but I think in the end, it was hurting him, and it's best for him actually not to be there. And I think it just soured him because he doesn't like Dave Meltzer, and he feels I think Meltzer was attacking him, so he's going to attack back. You know, Punk, like he is not afraid to fight back on people, especially with his words, and he will. Like, if he thinks you're attacking him, he will fight you to the bitter end, without question. And that's pretty much what's happening right here. I think he blames the Bucks, he blames Hangman, he blames Meltzer for like why it went wrong. I don't think he wanted it to go sour with AEW, but I think he blames all those guys for it happening.
Well, if what Punk is saying is true about Hangman, that they had a promo planned out, they discussed all the points they were going to hit. They had a plan. And then Hangman went out and said none of the things they had planned and went completely off script and hammered home some pretty strong words about Punk and how he's trying to save AEW from Punk and how he's not really about workers' rights and all of this stuff. And then it came to find out because Hangman felt that Punk got Colt Cabana fired, and Colt Cabana was Hangman's friend. Even if you feel that way, you don't do what Hangman did. If indeed that is what happened, which we're just hearing Punk's story, I'd love to hear Hangman's side of it too. I'm sure there's another side of it, but Punk's story makes Hangman look very bad. Because if that did happen, you cannot do that. You have to be able to trust your opponent in the ring. And not just in a match. Because if you can't trust him in a promo, if you can't trust that you're going to plan out what you're going to say, and then you go out there and he says some completely different shit, and it's like really hard stuff on you, and you never said, okay, we'll throw some shoot. Like it was never planned, and Hangman goes off script and goes into business for himself. Punk has every right to be upset. Because you cannot do that.
And imagine, he did a match after this too as well with Hangman. Their biggest main event pay-per-view they had at that point in time. Incredible that they pulled that off.
And it turned out fine. If you go back and watch the match, like, there's no sign of anything going wrong or animosity. Like, it didn't seem that bad when they got down to actually doing the match. But, obviously, Punk still had bad blood. Punk was still upset. Punk is still upset. Punk says he regrets doing the scrum when he said all those things about the Bucks and the empty-headed dumb fuck and the Bucks couldn't run Kmart or whatever he said, you know? All that stuff. The famous scrum where he's eating the muffins, right? He says he regrets it.
Say, yes, but it's still like top 3, one of his best things that he's ever done, promo-wise.
Yeah.
And it was. I mean, it was quite incredible.
Yeah, so for him to go, oh, I regret it, but it was one of my best promos, it's like, well, do you really regret it then?
I feel that's kind of how he looks at AEW in a sense. Like I think he regrets parts of it, but a lot of it, he did some of his best work, and he put over MJF. Like that's one of the best things, not just in AEW but in wrestling, was that feud.
He didn't seem to have a lot of great things to say about MJF in the interview when he was asked about him.
Well, I don't think he was a fan of what MJF became in the end. I don't think he was a fan of all that friendship stuff with Adam Cole, and I won't disagree with him with that. It wasn't some of the best MJF stuff, sadly.
Mm-hmm.
He brought the best in MJF, actually.
Yeah, there was some really good stuff there. When MJF did that speech to Punk about how much Punk meant to him, and then at the end of it, Punk goes, "Is that true?" That was like, whoa, that was a classic. Yep. That was so good.
Or
they had some moments.
MJF like you should go to like WWE and get main event a 4-night, get one free of WrestleMania.
Yep.
Funny how that's turned around a bit, but yes.
Yes, it is funny how that's turned around. I don't know. Punk still seems mad about AEW. He was asked about it, and he talked a lot. I think he just doesn't know when to shut his mouth. And he's a great storyteller. You know, like he tells a great story. You want to listen to this guy talk and tell a story? It's compelling. He's a great speaker, and you listen to him, and he tells stories, and you believe him, and he seems relatable, and you go, yeah, everybody else is wrong. This guy is right. And then you hear the other stories, what the other people are saying about him, and you go, oh, well, maybe it's not exactly the way Punk sees it. Maybe Punk said some things or did some things that kind of precipitated these events that Punk excludes. Yeah. I'm like, there are details that he's leaving out because nobody's going to tell us. I mean, this guy's going on for 2 hours about all these altercations he's getting into. And in every instance, he's the babyface. Right? And like, well, I've been involved in altercations, okay? Very rarely is there a babyface when it gets physical. If it gets to that point, nobody's really in the right. You know what I mean? Things have gone too far. So for Punk to go, hey, I'm right. These guys were wrong. Jack Perry came at me. Nothing I could do. And even he said, there's an NDA. There's stuff I can't talk about, but nothing that I did wrong. There's stuff I can't talk about, but not for anything that I did wrong. So what does that mean? He's like, well, other people are doing bad things, but not me. I can't. They made me sign a paper so I wouldn't talk about the bad things that they did to me. That was his message. I attacked Jack Perry responsibly. He came at me aggressively. I was just trying to be the voice of reason. I didn't even want to be the voice of reason. They dragged me into it. Right? Tony Schiavone dragged me into it. I didn't even want to get involved with Jungle Boy. But I did, and he was a dick to me, and it's not my fault. Thanks. He wanted to fight me, so I just defended myself, and then Samoa Joe told me to stop, and I did immediately because I'm a good boy, and I'm the baby face here, and I had to sign an NDA, and I wish I could tell all you good people all the details, but they made me sign an NDA about all the bad things that they did to me, and I want to tell you, but I can't. Because the NDA only covers the bad things they did to me and nothing that I ever did because I'm innocent. CM Punk. Who, me? Like, you know, I like him. I want to believe him. But when you listen to a 2-hour story about how he's the babyface in all these instances and how AEW doesn't even want to sell tickets, and then all these wrestling fans gobble it up like it's the fucking truth. And you go, well, it's his side of the story. And it's clearly his side, and he's really admitting no fault. Even when he goes, oh, I regret the scrum, but it was a great promo, eh, brother? Oh, I had great times in AEW, but they don't want to sell tickets, so I left to go to WWE where they actually do real wrestling business. I like MJF when he does real wrestling, when he was doing stuff with me, but that silly stuff is no good. The stuff with me was good. Also, not to mention CM Punk really wanted to draw money, right? That was his whole thing. Draw money, draw ratings. And how did CM Punk think the best way to do that was? What was the ticket to draw ratings, to draw money? Well, give him the world title, of course. Make him the world champion. And even when he wasn't the world champion, when you're trying to put over a young world champion, you're going to parade around on the other show and call yourself the real world champion. And then leave and not put the kid over on the way out. Thanks for fucking putting the wrestling business forward there, buddy. Good job. Like, you can't talk all this shit about wanting what's best for the business and supporting the future and doing all this shit and then act this way and act like you're the innocent babyface. Because you're not. And neither are they, by the way. Neither is Jungle Boy, probably the Bucks, although they seem like, I don't know. I'd be surprised, but who knows, right? But I don't think anybody's innocent in any of this.
Right.
And for any wrestling fan to go, they're the bad guys and he's a good guy, and listen what Punk says and it's the truth. And Helwani's really pressing him too because they're buddies. Like, come on. Come on. This is why you got to watch Wrestling Uncensored, because no one else is going to say these things to you. No one else is watching this closely. No one else has followed this guy for as long as we have, as closely as we have. And is going to say these things because we don't know him personally and we don't give a fuck about him or any of his enemies or friends, But we know pro wrestling and we know people in wrestling and we understand how it works and we know that there are no angels. And we know from the years and years of Punk stories and tales that he is no angel. Fucking veteran in a company, maybe world champion at the time, young kid coming in from Montreal, just trying to make a name for himself. Oh, you don't look like Mr. Wrestling. Fuck out of here. Who are you? Nice. Nice guy. Always been a real peach of a guy. Right?
Did you see Kevin Owens' recent they interviewed about Punk?
No.
Asked him what the relationship was they have right now.
No.
And he's like, we don't have one at all. Like, he does his thing, I do my thing, and we're good with that.
Yep.
I'm not surprised by that. Kevin's very good friends with the Bucks, so I don't think he really wants to hang out with Punk if he doesn't have to. Sometimes they have to, and he'll say what he has to say hi, and that's about it. That makes sense. They don't have to be friends.
Ooh.
They just have to work together.
Oh my God, they have to work together. Is there anything? I don't know if there's anything I want more for him, for Punk, than Kevin Owens in WWE, because Kevin will fuck him up. Like on the microphone. Ooh, fuck. Kevin can go when he needs, they kind of rein him in. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't
not angry that much.
No, but like when he's angry with a purpose, like people forget Kevin Owens is a sleeping giant. You know what I mean? Like he's there, he's doing his thing, he's kind of on the sideline, but like When you put Kevin Owens in the driver's seat and you give him something with some meat on the bone and he's got motivation and he's got some things to say, there's a reason why they've given this guy a talk show for as long as they have. The Kevin Owens Show tonight on SmackDown. Kevin Owens can go in the ring with CM Punk on the microphone, on commentary, wrestling. Like, he can do it. I need that. It's got to happen. But honestly, I don't think it will.
Well,
because I think that's like WWE doesn't want to throw Punk into the deep end of, hey, let's see how you get along with this guy. They're going to throw him into some guys where they're like, yo, he'll be it'll be fine. You know? Like, they're not going to throw him in with some guys where it's like, hey, Punk, why don't you wrestle Sami Zayn tonight? It's like, no. Sammy will do his thing over there. You'll do your thing over there. Sammy's on Dynamite. You're on Collision. It's, whatever.
He was right, though. That whole, like, brand split they were trying to do in AEW, like, that wasn't going to work.
No. Pay-per-views.
He was right about that.
Pay-per-views.
Even like,
it's stupid. They're all together at the pay-per-views no matter what. So even if you hate a guy and it's, like, on site, you're going to fight him. You'll see him at the pay-per-view. And guess what happened at the pay-per-views?
Yeah.
Punk fought people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but,
Punk's
there's a lot
like,
of
it's not
things
going to work, Tony. We can't keep us separate. Yeah, okay, because when you see these guys at the pay-per-view, you're going to attack them, dude. What are you talking about? You can hate people and get into verbal shit, and you don't have to fucking attack them. You don't have to do it. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Do you know how many people I could choke out on a daily basis that I don't? You know how easy it would be for me to choke everybody out? But I don't, man. Because I'm a reasonable man, and I know it's not good to do. Especially at work.
Oh, just save it for AJ. That's what everyone wants to see. You versus AJ one day.
Oh, AJ beat me. AJ's tough, man. AJ would kick my ass, I'm just saying the average Joe, not AJ. I'm not messing with AJ. AJ and Fred are both beating me up. Are you kidding? Those guys are savages. Maybe I'd have a chance against AJ. Fred, though. Fred's training for ADCC. He's competing April 20th. Fred's in the bracket.
I didn't think you'd beat Fred. I didn't think you'd beat Fred. I didn't think you'd beat Fred. AJ, like, that'd be fun. We'll see.
You don't think I could beat Fred in a jiu-jitsu match?
I mean, it's possible, but I think more often than not, Fred might win.
I don't want to talk about that. We don't talk about what happens at the gym on the show.
Okay.
We're not trying to expose gym secrets or what happens or who wins between me and Fred, but we do roll, I rolled with him on Monday. There were no submissions on either side.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, no one tapped. No one usually does. It's pretty even, to be fair. Like, our rounds go. Sometimes he wins, sometimes I win, sometimes it's just dead even. It's kind of nice. He's a very good training partner for me. He's really good and a lot of fun to roll with. And he doesn't injure me, which is always nice. And I don't injure him. Friendly. Fred is my favorite training partner. He's my favorite by far. Like, come on. He's my buddy. I love rolling with Fred. I love doing techniques with Fred, It's great to do jiu-jitsu with your very best friends, Johnny, Your best buddies doing jiu-jitsu. Hint, hint, John. Come to 10th Planet.
Oh, if I only had time. As Thunderbolt would say.
You can make time. You could do it. Come on,
it's
Johnny.
tough right now, to be honest. But...
God, I just want to bring a giant man with me to the gym, man. Look at you. You're gigantic. Bring you in. You'll be kicking ass in no time.
It'd be fun to do. But
yeah.
To end this Punk thing, like, I'm happy for him that at least he's happy now. Because clearly he wasn't happy before, and at least he found some form of happiness. And he's been able to move on. Because I think that's what everyone needs to do, is just move on from this. And I think when it happened, there was a lot big sadness and like emptiness for AEW, but I feel AEW, and they've really pushed this home this week, is that they're moving on without Punk. And they finally have done that now, I think. And Punk has done it too. So I'm glad people can finally move past this.
Did it sound like Punk had moved past it?
I think he'll always be angry about things like this, but at least he found happiness in the sense that professionally he's doing something else and he can feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
I feel that's what he needed and that's what he wanted. I don't think I think he wanted it to work in AEW. He just couldn't stand the people he was around.
Yeah. I found it real interesting, too, that Cody Rhodes was on that same show, and he said, I'm still friends with Kenny and the Bucks, and I love those guys, and I'm very proud of what we did together, and Punk can think what he wants, and that's fine. That's his opinion. That's his experience, but that's not my experience. And I was like, okay. I wonder how Cody feels, really, about Punk and everything that went down, because I know he knows all the details. He knows.
Then there's what Brandy said. I don't know if you call what she said. Just that they had a vision and then it changed and it wasn't the way that they thought it was going to be and it just wasn't what they wanted in the end. Which you can take it many different ways. It's like, if you remember what Brandy was doing, it's like, I don't miss that whatsoever. So, people are like, oh, it sucks that Cody's gone, but I'm like, yeah, but at least Brandy's gone, to be honest.
There's no way that Cody left AEW because they didn't want her on TV anymore. You think? You think he was that offended where they're like, Brandy's not good at the wrestling thing. Maybe we take her off TV. And then Cody's like, no, I'm leaving. There's no way. That couldn't have been it.
Like Brandy was wrestling. Like you probably didn't watch Dark, but Brandy was wrestling actually every so often.
Yeah.
So like I think the plan was to have her wrestle, but maybe they're like, oh, I don't know, Cody, like not working out too well, and maybe they were kind of pushing it. I don't know. Like
the fans were hating it too. The fans were really turning on Brandy, and I think they were turning on Cody because of Brandy at a certain point.
Well, the show was so bad. One of the worst reality shows like ever, I think. Rhodes to the Top.
Yeah.
Like, that was a huge reason to boo both of them.
It hurt them both in AEW. It really did. It hurt their momentum, and they never recovered, and Cody left. Right?
Again, everyone's better off, so it's better the way things are.
Yeah. And what is WWE Fast or what is that Twitter thing they're doing?
You didn't watch it?
No.
So basically, they're doing a tournament right now to crown the first ever Speed Champion, which is their matches that only last 3 minutes.
Okay. So what happens if 3 minutes ends and nobody wins? Because 3 minutes is not very long.
Well, then that's it. The match is over. Nobody wins.
Okay. So they have a speed matches, and they're going to crown a speed champion, or they have, or what?
Yeah, they're going to. Ricochet, Dragon Lee was the first match, and that match ended with 2 minutes and 59 seconds. Very good match, Ricochet, Dragon Lee. But, I mean, it's a bunch of let's just do spot after spot after spot kind of match. I think Bronson Reed also advanced in his match. So, I don't know the whole tournament brackets, but basically it's just fast matches you can watch on X, formerly Twitter.
The concept of timed matches that are only 3 minutes long and they're going to start a whole league based on that is just stupid. Come on.
Black Star Power. That's a huge problem with it.
Of course, because no real stars would participate in such a stupid goddamn thing. Unless you put Roman Reigns in there and he just spears people over and over again. One move and that's it. He could do that. Just hits a spear.
I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, I like that, to be honest.
Yeah. Or you put Goldberg in there, or like an old guy, like Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan wins like a 30-second match every week.
Like it's something that could work, but I feel like in the long run, I wouldn't make a champion off this.
No, it's dumb.
It's something you could do occasionally, but it's gonna be all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not. I would lose interest in it very quickly, I think.
Johnny, this week on Dynamite, Edge cut a promo talking about, all the negative feedback this week. He kind of addressed the CM Punk thing. And then talked about how he loves AEW and he's having the most fun in his career ever in AEW, which is surprising. But he talks about so many guys like Ospreay and Kenny and Hangman and Swerve and Moxley and Darby and so many others that he hopes to have matches with, and he's never even wrestled those guys, which, all those matches sound cool. And he loves AEW, and now he wants to introduce a man who symbolizes everything AEW will be going forward, Will Ospreay. And he introduced Ospreay, which I thought was an interesting move from AEW, an interesting promo from Edge. It felt like Edge just wanted to go out there and say some positive things about AEW and kind of lead the charge and maybe bring up morale and kind of let the wrestling world know that, hey, what this guy says doesn't matter and we're going to keep on going. We got big plans. Here's Will Ospreay. I think that's fine.
I didn't have a problem with it. I'm sure you're aware or probably think that many people would have a problem with it because some people would have the opinion that you shouldn't respond to something like that. You should just move on, and there's no reason to. I mean, Tony Khan doesn't.
Well,
yet
no.
People criticize him for that too. So, I mean, I feel like you can't win either way. I think if he wanted to cut the promo, if that's how he felt, do it. Like, I think people, for the most part, like the fans that were there, they were excited about it. And when he talked about all the negativity that's around, no one really reacted to it. People just wanted to hear Edge talk and him being passionate. That's what they really paid to see, was just Edge talk and just hear what he has to say. The only thing that was kind of weird that I found, that the criticisms I saw, were people complaining, oh, he doesn't have the TNT title, what happened? When he said in his promo, this kind of shows people don't watch the show, or people just criticize a 4-second clip or something.
Yeah.
That he said, this isn't about the TNT title, this is why he didn't come out with it. But oddly enough, he has the TNT title when Ospreay comes out. I don't know how that worked out. That was kind of weird. I guess someone on hand had the title or whatever, and they had to get that shot in.
Yeah, it was like on the side. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's something that when I saw people criticize that, it's like, well, you're not watching the whole show. You're only watching a clip. And that's what probably a lot of people do. They only watch a clip. They don't watch the whole show. Some parts are good, some parts are bad. That's what I kind of felt about Dynamite this week. Some parts were okay. Some parts I questioned a bit.
Will Ospreay beat Will Hobbs, and Bryan Danielson beat Lance Archer. I thought both matches were fine, but it took both of them too long.
Better.
It took them too long to win, and like you knew they were gonna win. They're building towards a match against each other. It just took too long.
Well, I thought Ospreay against Hobbs, that was a pretty good match, and I thought the fans were very much into that. I felt Archer and Danielson, it was just a typical, David versus Goliath kind of match. Not bad, but nothing really interesting, and kind of like you said, predictable. You kind of knew what was going to happen. With Hobbs and Ospreay, predictable, but you could tell, like, Ospreay, like, some of the moves that he hit in that match, like, I was kind of fearful for him, and Hobbs. Like, he did that twisting, like, leg drop onto Hobbs. Like, looked like he landed right on his head. And it looked like Hobbs may have been a little bit hurt when he hit the elbow at the end. I don't know if he was talking to him a bit there, but I was a little worried there. Ospreay's got some moves there where it's like, you never know what's going to happen. This could work out or it might not work out very well.
Yeah.
But it did. I mean, it kind of goes to show right now, he's the most exciting guy they got going on the up and coming right now in AEW.
Yeah, by far. He's just so exciting to watch. The promos are really clicking, and I cannot wait to see him wrestle Bryan Danielson. I think it's going to be phenomenal. Daddy Ass beat Jay White by disqualification when Jay White hit a low blow on him. The Ass Boys and White tried to take out Daddy Ass after the match, but the Acclaimed came out and made the save there. It was a pretty uneventful show, though, overall, right? Like, Joe and Swerve did a main event promo contract signing against each other that was pretty good. Young Bucks beat Orange Cassidy and Trent. And then then the Bucks advancing to the AEW Tag Team Title Tournament Finals now, and then Trent kicking Orange after the match, kind of turning his back on his friends, turning heel on the best friends, and walking away from Chuck, who seemed confused by the whole thing. So that was kind of a surprise. But that seemed to be the biggest thing that happened on the whole show. Trent turning on Orange, which, it's not such a big deal.
For you and me, we're not big best friends fans, but for people that are, this was kind of like a huge deal because I think from day one, they had the best friends in AEW, right? So This is kind of a huge deal. The fact that they're broken up, or it seemingly have broken up. And in terms of the match, I thought this was a pretty good match. I was very much into this match. Only big problem was the no tagging in and out, which was randomly would happen in the match. This is kind of typical, I guess, for a Bucks match.
Mm-hmm.
And the finish, which I was really not a big fan of. They used the exposed turnbuckle right in front of the referee, and the referee does nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. We had a DQ in the Billy Gunn match. I know, AEW. We had a DQ already, and we weren't supposed to get another DQ, but, the referees need to be on the ball with that, and Rick Knox, not the best referee in the world.
Well, he's like the Bucks ringer referee. He's always like kind of letting things slide for the Bucks. That's part of the gimmick, I think.
Well, I also think there's probably people in AEW that don't probably realize that if you use an exposed buckle, that is a disqualification. I think people in AEW don't realize that.
I guess. Thunder Rosa beat Mariah May to get a title shot at Toni Storm at AEW Dynasty, which is pretty cool. Toni Storm was on commentary during the match, and she said, Mariah May reminds me of a young Toni Storm. Thunder Rosa reminds me of an older Thunder Rosa, which I thought was the line of the night. Toni Storm is funny.
Yeah, Toni was good. It was nice that she put over Shivani's dog passing away as well. I know a lot of people were sad about that. If you listen to his podcast, it's like a big thing for him.
I don't. I had no idea.
Well, it's a huge thing. So It was nice that she mentioned that, put him over. And I'm looking forward to that match. That should be a pretty good match. I thought the match was okay, Thunder Rosa versus Mariah May, but it was just okay. Nothing really out of the ordinary. If anything, I thought Willow Nightingale, her promo, was like, wow.
Yes.
That was pretty good.
That was a great promo from Willow Nightingale, talking about how, the fans in Worcester, Massachusetts, she wrestled there so much, and they cheered her on, and they supported her when she didn't believe in herself, and she didn't think she would be, the star that she was, and look at her now. And it was a really, really good promo from Willow Nightingale, who I don't recall ever hearing speak before. Like, I didn't know what she sounded like when she first started talking. I was like, oh, how's this going to go? I didn't know they let her cut promos. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, this is really good. I like this promo from Willow Nightingale. So I thought it was really good. And then Mercedes Moné came out because Willow is going to challenge Julia Hart for the TBS title at AEW Dynasty, the next pay-per-view there, in a few weeks' time. We're not so far away. The 21st of April. 21st, yep. So how much TV do they have? They have 1-2 weeks of TV before this show.
Wow.
Well, 2 weeks of Dynamite. They got Collision still tomorrow, but you know what I mean. Mercedes Moné comes out, and she's dancing around as she does, and she says she can't wait to see Willow and Julia tear the house down in their match, and she can't wait because she's got next at the TBS champion at Double or Nothing. So they're already setting up the May pay-per-view where Mercedes Moné will face the winner of the TBS title match, Willow Nightingale and Julia Hart. It feels like Willow Nightingale will win because Willow and Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, have that unfinished business from their match in New Japan where Sasha got hurt and all that, right? So I feel like it'll be a Willow title win, but maybe they'll just have Julia win and Julia, Mercedes Moné at the pay-per-view. I feel like Willow is the match to make. As Mercedes' first match in AEW, I feel like Willow is the move.
Well, I don't know about you. I think Mercedes should wrestle before the pay-per-view, though. It's like, why
Yeah.
are you getting a title shot if you haven't wrestled before? I mean, they brought back the ranking system for a reason. It's not hard to climb that ranking system, especially in the women's division. But I think she should wrestle a couple of matches first to at least show that she is deserving of that title shot, not just because she wants it.
But she's getting it, no?
Oh, she says that. Nothing's set in stone. It's just what she said. I guess she calls herself the CEO. Doesn't mean she actually is the CEO of AEW.
No, she's not.
Shouldn't be able to call her shots like that.
Yeah. I'll tell you who is getting a title shot. It's Pentagon getting a title shot against Edge for the TNT title on Dynamite coming up Wednesday, which is a pretty cool match. Edge, Pentagon? I'm down for that.
Well, Edge talked about that, and I think that's one of the big reasons that he signed with AEW, besides the whole feud with Christian, is the fact that there's a lot of first-time guys he gets to wrestle.
Yeah.
And Pentagon, that's definitely one of them. That's a very interesting match that I'm looking forward to watching next week.
And finally, Johnny North, Dark Side of the Ring. We watched that this week, the Harley Race episode. Interesting.
Yep, that was a lot of everything, good, bad, and ugly.
Yeah.
Kind of how we talked about it off air a bit.
Yeah. There's a lot of, they talked about the career of Harley Race, the early wrestling experience for him as a teen and training and getting beat up and working the carnival circuit. I mean, real old school wrestling stuff, kind of original pro wrestling, taking on all comers in a real shoot match. And Harley was a real tough guy, and he experienced a lot of difficulties in his childhood, a lot of hardships, and as an adult as well, a horrible car accident where he lost his wife, who was pregnant at the time, losing a wife and a child in a car accident and surviving, and just horrible, horrible stories. A boat accident as well, where he was drinking and seemingly verbally and possibly physically abusive to his wife at the same time while he was drinking, and he was in a boating accident, and the other person, he crashed into another boat, and there was a person in the boat that was injured and sued him for a bunch of money, and he had to pay it out. So all the money he made in wrestling, breaking his body for the years and years, he had to pay out because he crashed his boat and he lost a bunch of money in a lawsuit. I mean, it was just a tragic story of professional wrestling, one of many if you followed the Dark Side of the Ring, which is on the 40th season at this point. You know what I mean? There's so many terrible stories in wrestling that they could go on and on and on and on. When they announced the Harley Race story, I was like, Harley Race, what's the story? St. Louis promoter, hated Vince McMahon, wrestled for a while, was a legendary NWA champion. What's the story? And then you watch it and you're like, oh man, he's abusing people. And I heard the story where he lit the ring on fire. I don't know if I'd heard the story where Vince offered him $250,000 to come to WWF while he was NWA champion, but I feel like that was a story that was out there for a while, and Harley saying he wouldn't take it, and then Vince got mad and tried to single leg Harley, and then Harley choked him out. Again, the front face lock, CM Punk style, right? That straight standing guillotine. He says he choked Vince McMahon out, which who knows? Who knows what's true and what's not? What's legend? What's fact? Who cares? The facts are it's a fun story. That's the most important part. And I think Harley Race lived quite a life. He had his ups and downs. He's a legend of wrestling. It was kind of a sad watch, though, because my impression of Harley Race is tough guy, respected, carried a gun. What's your finish? I'll move. That's Harley Race. And this was drunk, boat crash, car crash, drunk, mean to his wife, divorce, nasty divorce. tough because he had to be. I don't know. It just kind of took a little bit of the aura away from Harley Race for me. Kind of humanized him in a way where I'm like, man. You know? I like to think of Harley Race as this character that you hear the wrestlers talk about, you know, the other wrestlers and the cool Harley Race stories of like being a stand-up guy in the business. Because Harley Race in the wrestling business, all the stories that you're hearing and all the stories, he is a stand-up guy. He turns down the money. He's not leaving the NWA. He's not, you know, screwing over his buddies. He's saying screw you to Vince. You know, he's a stand-up guy in the pro wrestling context. But then all the stuff outside the ring, you go, Harley really didn't have it together. And that's not the stuff that I really knew about. That's not the stuff that the other wrestlers are talking about when they're telling Harley Race stories. You know, you're hearing stories about the good things that Harley did, about how he went to Japan with Ric Flair when Ric Flair was NWA World Champion because Harley was there to protect Ric Flair so none of the Japanese wrestlers tried anything and tried to beat him up and take the title for real because Harley Race would, you know, act as the bodyguard and beat those guys up because he was that tough. He was that feared. Those are the cool stories you want to hear about Harley Race, not how he's, you know, yelling at his wife and drunk and crashing into boats and just ruined. You know, it's like, it's sad. The sad stuff about Harley I didn't know. And quite frankly, I didn't want to know. Now that I know it, it's kind of like, yeah, Harley Race. Yeah. I don't know. He's not the guy, you know, we look up to anymore. You know, he's like, yeah, I didn't know about all that. It's like Harley Race was like a man. You're like, yeah, that's a fucking man. And now you're like, yeah, he's kind of a drunk, nasty man. Not great. Didn't seem great. Which sucks. You know?
Well, I felt Jim Cornette summed it up best when he talked about how kids in WWF would look at Harley and it's like he had the king gimmick and they just kind of went, I kind of had the exact same feeling about Harley Race back then. It's like, you know, he's there. That's nice. Yep. That's kind of horrific what happened. He got hurt against Hogan on a table bump. And they have tables all the time now, but the fact that a table like that, like, pretty much almost ended his career, that's really sad. I'm glad he was able to come back from that, but that's horrific. And, you know, it's sad that, again, you got the good, the bad, the ugly. I mean, Mick Foley put him over tremendously. His wife was just brutally honest about it. Mm-hmm. Like, there was good times, and there were times where he was just a horrible human being. And like he said, like, wrestling kind of made it difficult with them. It's not easy living that lifestyle. And then trying to live a family lifestyle. It's not easy. And I'm sure it was probably harder back then. Those times were really tough.
Yep. You know, there's no support for a guy like that. There's no help. There's no mental health awareness. There's nothing like that for a guy like Harley Race back in his time. And he had to deal with a lot. And he dealt with it as best as he could. However, dark side of the ring. So that was the episode this week with Harley Race, and that's the episode of Wrestling Uncensored for this week, Johnny. We've almost hit the 3-hour mark, a supersized edition. It's the WrestleMania Eve edition. We are officially at WrestleMania Day. It's WrestleMania Day 1 today, so we will be on right after WrestleMania Night 1 tonight, later tonight. Right after WrestleMania Night 1, the WrestleMania Night 1 post-show right here on the Ringside Report Network. And then on Sunday night, after Night 2, we're not going to be on immediately following the show. We'll be on Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern to recap the whole week of WrestleMania, to recap all the stuff, the whole big weekend, and especially Night 2 coming up Monday night at 7 p.m. Tomorrow night, though, we're on right after WrestleMania, right after Night 1. Come back here for the Ringside Report Network's WrestleMania Night 1 post show. I'll be here. Johnny will be here. My brother will be here as well. The full crew in effect for WrestleMania 40 Night 1. Johnny North, before we go, when is your next match? When can people see you in the ring?
So it's coming up pretty soon. April 20th, I'll be at Project X Wrestling in Sudbury. wrestling for the Project X Championship in a casket match against Magnum McLaren. Gonna put him in the casket, put him in eternal darkness, become a new Project X heavyweight champion.
Hell yeah. I love it. Next champion right there, Johnny North, and catch him again tomorrow night right here on the Ringside Report Network. Thanks to Angelo Contagonis. You are the Super Chat leader of the night. Big shout out to all the members checking in. Angelo wants to know if you're going to be on Monday. I don't think you will, right, John? I don't think you can make it Monday.
No, I can't make it Monday. I'll be back on Friday. Next show.
There you go. I think my brother should be with me on Monday, I believe. Shout out to Angelo. Shout out to Antoinette. All the members supporting. Leor. Ray Cruz. Everybody supporting over at join.ringsidereport.net. Join.ringsidereport.net. Thank you for supporting the channel, keeping us going. You guys are the lifeblood of this channel. And that is it. That is it. We will see you again tomorrow night, right after WrestleMania Night 1, right here on the Ringside Report Network.
Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word.
You know the drill. Hit that subscribe button. Flip those notification switches.
We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net. Hope to see you again next time, and have a good night.